Good evening, everyone. Okay, good evening, everyone. We are on the record. Today is Wednesday, the 26th day of February 2025. This is a regular meeting of the Jersey City Municipal Council. We had a scheduled 6 p.m. start, and the clock on my cell phone is showing 6:04 p.m. May we have a roll call for the commencement of this meeting? Councilperson Ridley?
Here.
Councilperson Prince Airy?
Here.
Councilperson Baggiano? Councilperson Saleh? Not here yet. Councilperson Solomon? Councilperson Gilmore?
Present.
Councilperson Tajis? Not here yet. Councilperson Rivera?
Here.
Council President Waterman?
Here.
Okay. I have 7 council members in attendance at 6:04 p.m. Can we kindly rise for a moment of silence, please?
David Daoud Williams. Maxima Cologne.
Remain standing as we salute to the flag. Thank you. On behalf of Council President Waterman and the members of the Municipal Council, in accordance with the New Jersey Public Laws of 1975, Chapter 231, the Open Publics Meeting Act, also known as the Sunshine Law, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board of the first floor of City Hall the annual notice, which is the schedule of meetings and caucuses of the Municipal Council for the calendar year 2025, and filed in the office of the city clerk on Friday, November 15, 2024. In addition, at the time of its preparation, the agenda of this meeting was similarly disseminated on Friday, February 21st, 2025 at 3:30 p.m. to the mayor, municipal council, business administrator, corporation council, and the local newspapers, and posted on the city's website. So I can certify as to our total compliance with the Sunshine Law. Before we begin, I'd like to ask for a motion to add item 10.27, resolution 25-145 to the agenda. I'll read the title in just one second. This is a resolution authorizing the award of a professional services contract to French and Perella Associates PA to provide engineering design services for the Manhattan Avenue and Franklin Street improvements, Department of Infrastructure, Division of Transportation Planning. I have a motion to add this item.
See, but before we add, can I ask a question? I see Director Patel here. Just briefly, since there is still some debate around the support of the bike lanes on Franklin and Manhattan Avenue, I understand that while the grant is restricted to those locations, if we approve the design, can we move that design to another street or street should there be consensus on that?
Councilman, I don't see why not. We would have to redo the resolution because it's written specifically for this project. But I don't see why those funds for professional services wouldn't be able to be used for another project. I don't know if the administration has, anything further to say about that, but we're just using funding that we would use for professional services to hire an engineer for any sort of project, but specifically for this one. So we would just have to modify that.
Okay, understood. Thank you.
Okay, how much is this gonna cost?
Councilman, this contract is for $162,000.
Oh,
for the engineer. It includes the design services for the engineer, but then also construction management, which is required by the DOT if the project goes into construction.
all right. So if it doesn't pass, eventually, we're out $162,000. Actually, the taxpayers of Jersey City are out $162,000. Something should be done. This is ridiculous.
That's what I was trying to explain at caucus on Monday, which is that the decision should be made based on whether this will get the approval, because while some of those funds we will fight to still get covered by the DOT, we don't think all of those design fees will be covered by the DOT.
Well, I think this should be delayed until we get further knowledge and more facts and the figures and everything, because the taxpayers to pay $162,000 right now when we have a number of problems in the city that are not being funded. It's a shame.
Can I sort of clarify, how much is the DOT grant going to provide the city that we might lose?
$670,000.
So just to be clear, we're at stake of losing $670,000 to make our streets safer. And for the 162,000, if we authorize the contract, correct me if I'm wrong, the way this contract is worded, is that based on is in essence, it is up to that point. So it's not as if they get all $160,000 now. It would be based on the work they would actually perform. And if we don't move forward, or if we shift it to another street, that we have some options for how that money ultimately gets used.
That's correct. If we award this contract for $162,000, the expectation is, like it would be for any contract that we would award, that vendor is able to bill for up to that amount if those services are rendered. But for example, this number that we got from this vendor of 162 was assuming a full build out of the plan. So if we say that we're not covering that full length and they're only covering part of it, we would not then pay them for services that they haven't performed for the remainder of that length of the street.
Yeah, but then Parker, now what you're saying is we really don't know what's going on. And to spend any money when we don't have the full knowledge is a shame.
I just want to put this on the record, right? Aside of this grant, aside of what Councilwoman Prinzeri said, if we can add, another destination to this, I want to go on the record stating that there was a meeting with the Department of OEM. There was a meeting with the police department. There was a meeting with the fire department. And every single one of those directors said no to this project. Every one of them said no. We're aware of that, correct? Every one of them. And Councilman Saleh was part of that meeting where they said no. So we are gonna vote on something where the public safety department stated it is not safe. I'm all for doing the amendment on the resolution to maybe put it on another street. But I did speak with the bikes, Jersey City Bikes, when they put me in the corner over there and we spoke in length. I did tell them I am 100% for this project, but we need to make sure that public safety needs to be on board. A second meeting, not the first meeting. The first meeting already happened, and the first meeting was a no. I am not going to be held responsible, God forbid, if one of the 1, 2, 3 schools there, School of the Blind is there, a fire headquarters is there. You have a street that's going west, and then you have another street that's going east. I did say to the members of the community, I'd love for it to go all east. We were supposed to have a meeting with public safety, and here it goes. This is on the agenda without the meeting. What I don't want is for this, what is this called? This resolution to go through, and then you guys are going to come up to us and say, we spent this money for this study, you have to do this. And that's where it lies. But I just want to be on the record that the entire Public Safety Department said no.
John, I think this should be tabled, not tabled, delayed until further study, and we meet with the Public Safety Division and everybody. Danny's 100% correct. And I know the block associations up there are very, very much against this.
Councilman, there was a request to add it to the council agenda, and the council is going to decide where they want to proceed.
Is there a possibility to do what Councilman Panzeri was suggesting and before just amend the title? So at this point, we're adding it, we're getting the design services. I know that the director needs a direct answer from the majority of the council on how to proceed, yesterday, but, at least for today in this context. So just sort of give us that flexibility.
I would just caution that if we were to do that, the number that is listed in this resolution, the contract amount, is specifically based on a quote we got from
Sure.
that engineer. So if we were to change it and use it for something else, I just don't know if that same number is applicable, if it's more, if it's less. So I just want to clarify that. And I also want to state that the grant that we have from DOT, I don't know if I made this clear in my answer earlier, the grant is specific to these two streets. So the grant would then no longer cover construction of anything. This would just be for design services, for looking at another street if there was interest in another street.
If we were to remove the title or change the title, it would essentially just become an open-ended engineering contract.
So I just want to be on the record again. Because we cannot amend this resolution now, I cannot vote for this. Simply because the Department of Public Safety said no to this. So because of that, I can't vote for this. Not against the project, not against the bike lanes. I want to be very clear, but we need to, like I told the organization, we as council people have to be common denominators for the entire city of Jersey City. We have to make sure that everything fits for the constituents that can't be here and for the constituents that come here. We have to do that. So unfortunately, because we can't amend it, my vote is no.
Council,
The public safety department's comments, while they're related to their concerns about things like the fire route and circulation around the neighborhood, the comments that you're referring to are not feedback on the traffic safety benefit and the traffic safety design that's a part of this project. They are comments based on their directive as the public safety department, which is to carry out, trips for public safety related to fire, OEM, et cetera. But I do want to say they are not looking at this project from the perspective of traffic safety and the people who are being injured and killed on the streets as a result of traffic crashes, which is what our directive is. So I would just love for those things to not be working against each other. I hear what you're saying, and in the meetings, we'll focus on how the project can elevate both of those goals.
Parker, maybe if we had a traffic division in the police department, we had a real police department that was operating like when I was on it, we wouldn't have these accidents.
Above my pay grade, Councilman.
I know, it has nothing to do with you.
So
Okay.
Barker, hold on, I just need clarity because every time I have this conversation, it just get more murky. So the resolution tonight is for architectural plans up to $161,000 specifically for the studied area. The study was already done in that area. Oh, wow. So if we vote to approve this resolution and then you guys have a meeting and then you say we're moving the lane, we're moving it to another street, what if anything happens in that instance?
No, if you were to vote on the resolution the way it is tonight for
You can't move it.
that amount of money and for that firm, the way the resolution is written, it says this is authorizing this contract in relation to the DOT grant that is for these two streets, Manhattan Avenue, Franklin, that little piece of Central. And the purpose of this contract is to design out a plan for those streets. So if the resolution passes the way it is tonight, we would not be able to shift it to another street. If the council makes a decision to make it a general on-call resolution for engineering services to be used for a street that will be determined at a later time that may be eligible for bike lanes, that is then a different thing that we are doing, and that is no longer tied to this grant that we have. That's just our ability as a city to use the funding we have in our budget for this purpose.
And the grant wouldn't cover the bike lane going anywhere else anyway, would it?
The grant would cover the construction of a bike lane, but one of the prerequisites of that
Yes.
grant is to have this plan developed. So you can consider it kind of like, this is our local match for the grant that we have.
Okay. Amanda, go again.
Okay, so right now, all I need is a motion to add the item to the agenda. Later, we will go through the agenda into the resolutions where we'll make our vote. So again, I'll just ask if I have a motion to add this item to the agenda. No motion to add this item to the agenda, so this item,
I mean, it's a border, but I need the council to back me up if I do this, so, motion.
One for the assembly.
motion to add the item to the agenda made by Councilperson Saleh. Do I have a second? That was Councilperson DeGise? Okay. Okay, motion to add item 10.27, resolution 25-145 to the agenda. Councilperson Ridley.
Let me start by saying that I think that our bike advocates in this city are some of the best advocates we have. I feel like they did their job. They met with all of us. They talked to us. My issue is I think we have to start doing a better job as a city. And all of this confusion between, public safety saying yes or saying no. I know that I personally made phone calls and I talked to directors in public safety, and they mentioned that when we did bike lanes on Mallory Avenue, there were studies done, there was video taken, they were actually out there on the road, and none of that had been done yet for these bike lanes in the Heights. And I think that we have to get a way to do things and follow through with it and stick to it on every project. And also make sure that we're doing these things in advance of these votes coming to the council so that we can make the best and informed decision. I am concerned about the public safety portion of this. I'm concerned about the funds. We didn't amend it, so we can't use those funds for anything else. And I did get some requests for maybe using a different street from people in that area who are not against doing the bike lane. They just felt like maybe that's not the right street. But based on the resolution, the way it is currently, I am going to vote no to adding it.
Okay, Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
No,
Councilperson Saleh.
Just want to say for the record that Department of Public Safety, OEM's opposition to the plan initially, let us go back to the drawing board to amend it. And it took about a month and a half, 2 months to go back to the drawing board to amend it to have it as those two blocks. And then, after the pilot was done, there was some opposition to the proposal for the full length of the bike lane. And I'm just going to lay the cards out on the table. They don't want to see from Tunnelly Avenue to Central Avenue on Manhattan as a single lane with a bike lane because they do have issues with the fire trucks and the response times and the backup along Jefferson Street when it comes to the parents parking there. There's been a few issues with response time when it comes to the fire trucks. OEM is up there, fire trucks are up there. And when I had proposed the alternative plan, Plan B, they said that they would be able to stomach it. With the Plan B alternative plan would be a protected bike lane along Franklin Avenue. And I think that in my eyes, that's the best of both worlds. And also no one walks away fully happy. It's the compromise plan. I am going to vote in favor of this. I think that there are certain concerns that can be engineered and done to mitigate those concerns within the community and with OEM. And that's why I don't think it's should be the death of this project. So that's why I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. Councilperson Solomon?
Sure, just very briefly, I mean, we're adding it to the agenda here. I'm going to vote aye. The biggest thing is, the director stood in front of us and said, if this is delayed 2 weeks, she can't guarantee that we're going to move on it. And we have nearly $700,000 to make people's streets safer. And I just can't, lose that if we don't add it to the agenda tonight. To a point my council colleague made and to a point the director made is she needs to know that she has, a majority of this council in support of a design and a vision. And that basically has to happen in the next 2 weeks. So adding it to the agenda is saying we have to make sure that this is moving forward. We can't lose this money. But then we all have to very clearly give her a clear direction on how we're moving forward. So I just can't see the project killed tonight. So I'm voting yes, and then want to do my best to work with the ward council people and the director and public safety to make sure we have a clear vision in the next 2 weeks and then go from there.
Thank you. Councilperson Gilmore?
Wow. This one is interesting in the sense that I initially wanted to vote for it because I wanted the opportunity, because I thought that if it wasn't going to be the full length, that they were going to go to the compromise length. Now there's kind of like some monkey wrench in the sense that if we have a meeting and we decide to do it somewhere else, you would essentially be on the hook, if not for the whole 160, for a portion of services that were rendered. But then on the other hand, I don't want to see 600 or whatever the grant is. I don't want to see that go to waste either. Hmm. I think I think I'm gonna vote. I'm gonna vote yes, contingent upon, and my vote yes, to be clear, is to allow the contract to be initiated for the construction of it. I do believe at some point, probably yesterday, that we need to decide if this thing is going to be full length, partial length, or somewhere else, because the more we wait, the more at jeopardy we risk of losing a grant, and then subsequently, the more money the city will be on the hook for the architectural plans. So I'll vote aye with respect to that.
Okay, thank you, Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeGise?
Aye.
Okay, Councilperson Rivera?
So unless the Department of Public Safety literally lied when we made the phone call, I want to reiterate that the answer to this project was no. I do not, and I am not I'm not in favor of putting people's lives at stake here. Once this study happens, this is exactly what's going to happen. We're being cornered here, right? This project, this study is gonna happen. Then the director's gonna come back and say, okay, the study is done. We gotta have to do this. We paid all this money. We can't move it to another place. Aha, got you. Where all we had to do was sit down with public safety once again to get the stories, I guess, straighter, if that's a word, highlighted even more. Say it in layman's term, we do not want this area to be blocked off because there's concerns of the many schools in the area. We have bike lanes throughout the entire city of Jersey City. We voted for it. I've never had a problem. Public safety has never said no. Public safety is saying no to this. It's got to be a reason. Maybe is the multitude of grammar schools and the school of the blind that's in that neighborhood. We need to make sure that we pay attention to that. This is not about numbers and how much this grant is going to cost and how much money we're going to lose. It's not about that. It's about lives, guys, lives. And God forbid something happens, this is on your hand, definitely not on mine. Unless public safety says we're good 100%, we'll be on board. The fact that we couldn't amend this because the study says it's a specific area, I don't know about that, but my answer is no.
Council President Waterman?
Um, First of all, we received this information late as a council. Based on my conversation with the director, going back and forth, and JC Bikes, meeting with the community. We are a city of bike lanes. I have no problem with bike lanes at all. I believe in them. It's a safety issue on both sides. It really is a safety issue for pedestrians, and it's a safety issue also for those firefighters and police officers, first aid people getting to sites. There is so much confusion around this one here. There is so much confusion. We're not clear with it. Based on the grant must be used for these two streets. It cannot be used for any other streets. That's what the grant says. And we know when you get grants, grants are specific. We can't waiver those grants, and that's just the truth. We can't. They use for these two streets. I have a problem with getting the information so late. And because it's so late, because they got a deadline now that they have to meet in order to get this grant money. But we're just getting this about 2 weeks now. And now it's like the pressure's on us to just vote for it. I'm concerned about what's happening up there, safety with public safety, with OM, all of the entities that's saying that there's a problem there. I asked them to have a meeting with the public safety people too. I met with JC Bike yesterday, some of them, and I told them my concern is that I'm getting the information late, and it seemed like we're the bad guys if we don't vote for it. We're not against bike lanes. We just asking for more conversation with it because we really just getting it based on when Yusef and them had the meetings. All of us didn't get it. That's what y'all don't understand. All of us didn't get all the information. We're just getting it now. So that's why with all that say, I'm abstaining because I'm just not clear on it, period. I'm just not. But there's safety on both issues. I just want this out there. It is.
Council President Waterman, you are abstaining.
Yep.
Okay, so this motion failed. This resolution will not be added to the agenda. We have 5 council members in agreement with adding this. We have 3
It passed.
and 1 abstaining.
It passed.
What's the count? 5?
Sorry,
It's passed. It's 5. It passed.
5.
It passes.
It doesn't. It's 6 to.
Okay, well,
resolution. Yes, 6 council members
Or
to.
later.
I'm sorry. Yes,
No.
but it does not get added.
We telling you your job.
I'm sorry. Can we
Sorry.
move on, Council President?
Go ahead, Amanda.
Yes, okay.
Sorry, we telling you your job.
You need 6 to add.
Late
You need 6 to add.
Maine.
Okay, I'm going to move on to our first readings.
Cracking up.
Item 4.1, City Ordinance 25-009, an ordinance amending Chapter 69 Special Improvement Districts, revising Article 2.
Sorry, Amanda, did we introduce?
What are we doing?
Yeah, we ain't do
3.1, Amanda, you gotta start.
I don't think we did the first.
Yeah, the first.
We didn't do the first reading, Amanda. You gotta read them all.
You know, Amanda, apologies. That was a little bit of a turn we took to add or to have the vote to add. So we're just going back to first reading.
Go back to the beginning.
I started that. I apologize.
No, it's okay. We're all on the same page. Let's go to our first ordinances. First reading ordinances. Okay, so that's items 3.1 to 3.4. Okay, first reading ordinance, item 3.1, City Ordinance 25-021 is an ordinance of the City of Jersey City authorizing the transfer of city-owned real property identified on the tax map of the City of Jersey City as Block 14905, lots 17, 18, and 19, aka 302 Fairmont Avenue, to the Jersey City Redevelopment Agency. Item 3.2, City Ordinance 25-032 is an ordinance of the Jersey City Municipal Council amending the Jersey City Land Development Ordinance to 345, Article 3, Application Requirements, Development Procedures, and Checklists. Item 3.3, City Ordinance 25-023, an ordinance of the Jersey City Municipal Council approving a technical amendment to Ordinance 24-096, language in Chapter 345 for zoning fees. Item 3.4, City Ordinance 25-024 is an ordinance authorizing the execution of a temporary construction easement and access easement agreement between the City of Jersey City and FD Johnson Avenue LLC, authorizing FD Johnson Avenue LLC to install and maintain 2 temporary well points and 1 monitoring well in the portion of the public right-of-way known as Johnson Avenue south of Garabranch Street. Okay, council members, we are taking a vote on items 3.1 to 3.4. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Just briefly for the administration, on 3.2, we're going back and forth with the community group about some possible changes to it. I'm okay with introducing it because I know there are things the planning director has in it, but we may have some of that at the next council meeting. But I just want to let you guys know that we'll be in kind of communication with the planning director and you guys on 3.2 before second reading. Okay.
Absolutely. If anything you need us to coordinate, let us know.
Okay, great. So I'll vote aye for introduction.
Okay, thank you. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye for introduction.
Councilperson DeGise.
I for introduction.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye for introduction.
Council President Waterman.
Introduction.
Okay, thank you. Items 3.1 to 3.4 have been introduced unanimously, 9-0. Okay, now we're on to our second reading ordinances. Okay, our second reading ordinance, item 4.1, ordinance 25-009, an ordinance amending chapter 69 Special Improvement District, revising Article 2 Central Avenue Special Improvement District to be consistent with other Special Improvement District implementing articles. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-009. Motion made by Council President Waterman, second by Councilperson Saleh. Motion to close this public hearing on City Ordinance 25-001. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore,
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise. Aye. Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-009. Motion carries 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of Ordinance 25-009, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
I want to thank the Central Avenue SID as well as David Diaz. The purpose of this was to remove the SID assessment cap and to unify the language with the other SIDs. It's going to allow the SID to basically raise more funds to keep Central Avenue cleaner and do more programming. With that, I proudly vote aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman. Okay, City Ordinance 25-009 is adopted 9-0. Okay, item 4.2, City Ordinance 25-010 is an ordinance supplementing Chapter 131, Construction Codes Uniform, adopting the updated Construction Site Safety Manual, 2024 edition, and requirements for standpipes, and incorporating the safety regulations contained therein by reference into Chapter 131. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Second.
Motion made by Council President Waterman, second by Councilperson Saleh. Motion to close the public hearing on ordinance 25-010. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
You stepped away.
Step.
Oh, okay. Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman. Okay. You can come back to, doesn't matter. That, we'll close the public hearing, 8-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance 25-010, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore stepped away. Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay. City Ordinance 25-010 is adopted 8-0. With Councilperson Gilmore nodded the dais. All right, we're on to item 4.3, City Ordinance 25-011. This is a ordinance amending Chapter 60 fees and charges, amending the fee schedule for city-owned and operated swimming pools at Pershing Field Pool, Pavonia Municipal Pool, and Lafayette Aquatic Center. This is a public hearing for this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard, we do have members coming up to the podium. Can you please clearly state your name for the record?
Well, good evening. My name is Michael Griffin.
Come closer and lift it up. Michael,
Michael Griffin.
got it. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I was here a couple of weeks ago, just speaking on how important it is to pass this ordinance.
Can't understand.
So
You're too tall. You gotta pull it up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. I was here a few weeks ago, just to shed light on how important it is to pass this ordinance. So I am here today to thank everyone in advance for passing this ordinance tonight in about 10 minutes, hopefully. It is very crucial, especially in certain parts of our city where, you know, $5 means a lot to somebody. That can be lunch or snacks for the kids. You know, so please, you know, do the right thing. Let's get rid of the fees and, you know, let people enjoy the city that they know and love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Danielle, Danielle, Didamo, D as in David, apostrophe, capital A, Damo.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening, council members. I'm here tonight to express my gratitude for the ordinance amending Chapter 160 fees and charges, which revises the fee schedules for Pershing Field Pool, Pavonia Municipal Pool, and Lafayette Aquatic Center. Growing up, my family was lucky enough to have a pool. But as my late mother and late father worked hard to put both my brother and I through high school and college, the cost of maintaining it became overwhelming. It was no longer feasible, and that's when my late mother and I started going to Pershing Field Pool. It became our special place, but even then, the pool fees sometimes felt like a stretch. By adjusting these fees, you've made it easier for families facing similar situations to enjoy these community spaces without additional financial worry. I appreciate your thoughtful consideration and commitment to making Jersey City more accessible and inclusive for all. Thank you.
Hi, guys. Yes, I work for Education at Gilmore, but I'm speaking upon myself, Tina Knowles. Again, for us to have the pool fee for our community, it shouldn't be a fee. Oh, wow. Yeah, it shouldn't be a fee because again, me doing the summer camp, working with the kids, we could not afford that. Bad enough, we couldn't afford the food inside. So again, I said me working for Education at Gilmore that summer with the kids, that was one of the activities we was able to do 3 times a week for free because the kids could not afford the other trips because their moms had other kids. So to see this happen, to take from our community, it's going to be very depressing. We already depressed in our community because they're not getting jobs. We already depressed that they don't have extra money. To come in our community is just like we can't go to the park and play in the park on the swing because we have to pay $5. So think about it. Let's realize this is our community. Let's come together. Let these kids play. Let them enjoy themselves. Let their family have one smile on their face that they are able to do something for free. Not only Community Treasure want to give out free stuff, we also want the community and City Hall to start doing stuff for free too. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, council members and community leaders and fellow residents. My name is Lanisha Trent. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 1. I'm a Jersey City resident for over 47 years, and I am the constituent service liaison for the Ward F community. I'm here tonight as a voice for the hardworking families of Jersey City, families who, like many of us, live paycheck to paycheck, where every single dollar matters. For these families, summer should not mean choosing between paying a bill and taking their children to a public pool. It should not mean that the public resource funded by taxpayer dollars become an exclusive privilege instead of community benefit. The reality is simple. These pool fees are a financial burden on some. Many residents in our city are already struggling to keep up with the rise in rent, food prices, and transportation costs. Adding yet another fee, one to disproportionately impact low-income families, only widens the gap between who can afford access to recreation and who cannot. Let's talk numbers. The average household in Jersey City is already stretching every dollar just to make ends meet. The city collected less revenue than expected from these pool fees, which proves they were not a sustainable source of funding. The $50,000 collected in fees is a drop in the bucket when it's compared to the city's $700 million budget, a cost that can be absorbed without harming other public programs. Meanwhile, these fees create longer lines, unnecessary delays,
delays and discourage families from using the resource meant for them. Public pools were created as a safe community center space where children, seniors, and families could cool off and connect during the summer months. Charging for access contradicts the very reason they exist. This is not about the fees. This is about equity, fairness, and accessibility. I urge you, our elected officials, to stand with the people who put you in office, vote to eliminate these unfair pool fees, and ensure that every Jersey City resident, regardless of income, can enjoy the public spaces we all deserve. Thank you for your time.
Good evening. My name is Edward Perkins, and I am very happy. Thank you very much to the councilman who sponsored this bill to have the gumption to do it just after you all just, or 6 of you all voted and spit it in our face to actually make us pay for our public pools that have always been free all of my life. And I'm 40 years old. And many of you now are running for reelection, and I don't see how you deserve support if you had the audacity to be a part of the last group who supported pool fees in the first place. Like, are you ignorant or arrogant? Like, are you not living amongst us? Do you not know about or feel our pain? Have you not heard our cries? So I'm so thankful to those of you.
You don't have to insult us.
Ma'am.
Okay, they said they
Ma'am.
insulted. You can just tell us.
Ma'am.
Okay, go ahead. Calling us ignorant. That's.
Ma'am.
Okay, so go ahead, Perkins.
On my time, I'm reclaiming my
Go ahead, you
time.
can reclaim it. That's not a problem, but go ahead.
My time.
Okay, just claim it.
But I'm very happy, and I can't wait to see what happens next. That's right, it's on you. But under the mayor's leadership, you had the audacity to vote and to do that. Many of our kids attend our public schools are poor. Many of us, that's right, day to day, it's the same story. So you make it free for the kids and adults have to pay. But what about the strain on the adult? What about the strain on the adults? And what has happened is the lines are longer, right? And now it's out of reach for many of us. And you don't deserve support. How dare you look to support to lead us again? It's a no to you, right? And it's a no to Mayor Fuller. And no, thank you.
Thank you. Tell us about him.
Hi, my name is Jim Nelson, resident in the Heights. I encourage support for ordinance 4.3 municipal pool fees. I've often spoken in support for coherent and coordinated planning of open spaces and recreational spaces by the city, school district, other schools, and the county. It would include municipal pools in that conversation. This ordinance, as you know, maintains nominal user costs most of the year, yet waives those costs during summer months. Just as we collectively assume responsibility for investing in and maintaining our parks, we collectively invest in and maintain our pools. Opening each pool without fees extends a measure of equity in access. Moreover, it complements our school district's renovations of certain indoor pools. These combined measures have a positive impact for restoring a New Jersey culture of swimming safely, providing positive spaces for refreshing recreation. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jadea Brooks. Would you like me to spell that or no? Honorable members of the City Council, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Would like to urge you to create. Can you come closer?
Your mic.
All right, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I would urge you to reconsider pool fees. Can y'all hear me now? Okay. Pool fees for Jersey City residents. I am in understanding that there is no way to just charge non-residents versus residents. I understand that. However, if you visited the city's pools, they are not inundated with non-resident people, all ages. These are aquatic centers we look forward to. During the summer, families like mine, my mother would take all of the grandchildren with her multiple times a week. Pool fees are an impediment for people who are already struggling every day. During the summer, there are some free events. Yes, they are great. However, we cannot make it to all of them, but we do know Pavonia is there. We do know Persian Field is there. On top of that, swimming is not simply a recreational activity. It is critical life skills for low to moderate income families such as mine. Swimming is important life skill to learn. Affordable swimming opportunities is a matter of safety, equity, and opportunity. Swimming can save lives. Sorry. By imposing fees on pool access, we are not just charging for leisure activity. Sorry, we are putting an unnecessary barrier to something that should be available to every child in our city and has continued to be free since I've been alive, honestly. Wherever the funding can be found in the budget, I think it's important to reconsider. I believe it's possible to find somewhere. I believe it's possible. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, council. So, of course, this is about the pool fees.
Can I have your name, please?
Essence Kelly, on the record. So just to give a little bit of a backstory, of course, everybody loves a good pool day, but I must say mine's had, being able to pay it forward was really, really important. And I must say that really started with Councilman Gilmore. When I was a part of the Stop the Drop program, coming out, I believe at 18 years old, I had worked at a McDonald's job, which is locally located on Martin Luther King Drive in Ward F. Now, I used to work at Stop the Drop on Sip Avenue, which is in the Heights, well, Midtown, about in that area. So Gilmore was in charge of that. He would basically come around, collect our supplies and all that other stuff. And I used to have to beg him to take me to work. And he did. Of course, he would fall on my cry. And there would be this young boy there coming back from the pool. He only had $5 and he had 3 friends. And everything at that time costed $1.07. As I vividly remember, he could afford something for all 3 of his friends. But with the change that was left over, 35 cents, I would grace him and pay it forward, and I would say, just give me the $5. But he would be coming from the pool with his towel and his 3 friends. They all shared one soda. And at the end of the day, he only had that $5 to do that one thing. So it always made his day, and he would come back every single day with his 3 friends to share that one soda and that one meal that afforded them $5. So to say this is that we're supposed to make some things free. Everything can't be free, but some things can be free, and a pool should be free. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Adrian Gainda, Ghainda. I'm a resident of Westside, and I'm a member of the Hudson County DSA, where a lot of our chapter members live across the city and wholeheartedly support this initiative that Council members Gilmore and Solomon put together to ensure that we eliminate these recreational pool fees. So I want to emphasize that with each passing summer, we've seen record heat wave after record heat wave, and each summer has become the hottest summer on Earth. And with that in mind, I think that families and children that live in Jersey City deserve a place where they can cool off in that record-breaking humidity. with free access to city pools instead of having to wonder and contemplate if they would even be able to afford to cool off. When it's 90 degrees out and it starts to feel like 100 degrees, and the way that heat radiates off of the concrete and radiates off of the asphalt, the least of our children's concerns should be if this day in the summer, they're going to wind up in the hospital because of a possible heat stroke. So for me, I want to ensure that this ordinance passes because not only would it benefit children, it would benefit families, it would benefit adults. Like I said, I want to stress that it would be pool fees that would be removed for adults during the summertime, as well as parents who take their younger children to these pools, as well as other individuals that need access to cooling centers and can't afford the maintenance of maintaining their AC over the summer. So all that to say is that this is a public good that would benefit everyone. And I would hope that, after coming to city council for 5 years, this would be one of the easier votes that the council would be able to vote on. And with that, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to speak.
Could I tell you something, sir? Thank you for supporting local businesses and Cheese's shirt, Jersey City.
Members of the council, my name is Galia Green Kaufman, Gahlia, Green with an E at the end, -Kaufman. I am a resident of Ward D and a proud member of the Aquanuts, which is an aqua aerobics community that meets twice a week at Pershing Field Pool. So I thank you for the consideration. I echo the sentiment of my fellow residents that that the pool should be free year round. As somebody with a chronic illness, the pool is one of the only places for low impact exercise that does not hurt my joints. And I think it's also a space where a lot of seniors have access to recreation at low to no cost and should continue to be a space for that. I wanted to actually ask for some clarity around the ordinance. When I read the second page, it seems like there's 6-month passes available at $200 for adults and $75 for $75 for seniors. But if that were to be the case for older adults that are only attending the aqua aerobics class, this would be much more than they would actually be paying monthly. And where I was confused was in the second page, it said that there would not be daily fees for Pershing Field Pool. And I wanted for the summer. So is that no fees at all? Or would it require a 6-month pass to be able to access? So it's just free for those months. Okay, great. So then, yes, thank you so much for passing, for your votes on this. I hope it goes through, and I hope we continue to progress forward to the point where it's free year round. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Amanda Levy, AMANDA LEVIE. I am a member of the Pershing Field Neighborhood Association. I'm the newly elected vice president of the Pershing Field Neighborhood Association. I'm also a proud member of the Aquanuts, which is an unofficial aqua aerobics class and community coalition that meets on Tuesdays and Fridays. I do want to push forward for no pool fees for the entire year, as much as I appreciate throwing us a bone for the summer. I do believe that we're not making, first of all, these membership fees are not cost effective. You would have to, in order to see your first bout of savings on a 6-month pass, you would have to attend the pool more than 3 days. And you would save up, you'd have to attend 4 days, and you would save a whopping $16. This is not an effective pass. I think the 6-month pass, if actually percentage, should be much lower. And I also think that if you keep that price, you should also lower the senior rate. Seniors do not have any programming because our city cut them a lot. One of the lowest impact activities that you can have to keep in shape, to keep healthy, and to keep engaged, especially with social groups like the Aquanuts, is at the pool. It should be free for seniors. It should be free the same way it's free for kids. I also believe that because it should be free for seniors, we associate like disabilities or impairments with maybe being older. However, that is not necessarily the case. People with chronic illnesses, people recovering from injuries, people that are just trying to do low impact physical therapy for themselves need access to the pool with no constraints. Having a pool fee is a barrier, and I know you're going to hate that I'm going to say this, but you know Union City has a free pool for everybody in the county. So it is something that we can do. We do have a lot of ways to make money, and I don't find that this, that the objective of this was actually closed. We didn't close the gap on pool fees. I don't believe pool fees helped us with our $57 million deficit. I do not think it made a significant enough role in order to continue doing this. Thank you.
Brittany. Corporation time. Oh, you did?
If we remove it, it would be substantial.
Oh, it would be?
Okay,
Okay. We tried.
Take away a whole fee.
you have to do a separate one.
We gotta do a separate one. All right. We'll do a separate one.
Hi, good evening. My name is Lily Hecht. Let me know if I need to spell that. I'm with the Jersey City Tenants Union. We have members all over the city, and we are fully in support of removing pool fees. Jersey City should be encouraging the community to come together and use these recreational spaces that are vital to the wellness of the of individuals in the community and to the community as a fabric. Instead of creating barriers that disproportionately affect the working poor. Jersey City's residents are keenly aware when their government charges people for basic public services, but meanwhile lets rich entities, free ride or get subsidized rides on the back of working folks. Tenants across Jersey City are facing deplorable, crumbling living conditions, and like I have witnessed a genuine habitability crisis. That's rather shocking. And the least the city can do is give folks public services and public spaces for their safety, for their wellness, and for their sense of belonging. I also think it's important to shout out an elephant in the room, which is America's very specific legacy regarding pools and public service and public access to pools. When segregation was outlawed in the 1950s, America's wide-ranging response was to shut down our existing public pool access, just shut down public pools because of the idea that integration was not stomachable to the people in power, specifically across racial lines. And so this is a third rail that we're not discussing, which is the racial justice implications of charging barriers to entry, and who does and doesn't get to access the facilities. Someone said something. And so just pointing out the racial justice barriers to access when you charge folks for basic things that they are honestly owed. And yeah, communal spaces are the backbone of thriving communities, and providing them to everyone without excluding people is the right, but also the smart thing to do for the fabric of our community. So thanks so much for your time.
1 second. Can you just say your name again, please?
Lily Hecht, spelled Lilly, last name Hecht.
Thank you.
Shireen McCormack, SHIRIN, MACCORMACK. Hello. The value of public pools free to residents cannot be overstated. It may seem like such a small thing, but it actually has such huge reach and impact on life skills and everyday ordinary quality of life. This one sits close to my heart. As a kid, I learned to swim in a public pool. As a teen, I went on to swim for my high school swim team, and I lifeguarded for 7 summers during high school and early college. At my job, I guarded the lives of all the swimmers, oversaw the busy swim meets, and ensured safety. Trained in first aid and CPR, I learned also the responsibility of monitoring the storm weather and maintaining water's pH, all the while soaking up all the beautiful vitamin D. However, most importantly, and of greatest reward, I taught child after child how to swim so they could be their own lifesaver. Keeping our city's pools free to residents offers a safe haven to engage in a positive, healthy, life-changing activity like swimming. It helps keeps kids out of trouble. It metaphorically can save lives. But having access to pools and learning to swim can also literally save lives. It teaches a hugely empowering life skill. To learn how to swim can literally lead to being able to save one's own life or that of another while catching that next wave at the always alluring Jersey Shore or just hanging out at the town pool. It's an absolutely invaluable skill, and restoring free open access to all residents to enjoy our city's pools is key. Free pools creates an opportunity that allows for family time, recreation, personal growth, community building, and overall enhanced quality of life. What's more, it's about equity. It's about inclusion. We got to respect that. It's already expensive to live here. Let's not charge and make families choose which of its members gets to go to the pool, if any. Let those country clubs charge their fees and let Jersey City keep our pools free and accessible to all residents. Many of us remember vividly the first time that we or our kids jumped into the deep end or off the diving board or in without the water wings. There's a profound sense of pride, empowerment, peace, and liberation in embracing the weightlessness that water offers at the town pool. And of course, the fun and excitement. As a workout, swimming increases resistance compared to jogging. For those recovering from injury, swimming's therapeutic, having less impact than pavement. And it also offers a calming capacity, so much so that some businesses like the amazing Ohm Life downtown offer float therapy sessions. So thank you, Frank Gilmore, and thank you, James Solomon, for introducing this ordinance. Let's improve next summer together tonight.
Good evening, Council. I am Phyllis Gordon, a Jersey City public school teacher. Let's remember, our children, most of them get free lunches. They qualify for free lunches, which lets you know the parents' income and the sacrifices they have to make ends meet. Now, the summer heat will begin sweltering here real soon. Children will be eager to go swimming. There should be absolutely no fees for Jersey City residents. The taxes paid by the Jersey City residents should take care of any and all fees. This ordinance must be revisited and undone before the summer heat begins. Pools should be free for all Jersey City residents. This decision must be reversed. No fees for our children. No fees for the parents. No fees for the Jersey City residents. And let me remind you that our religious institutions should not be in competition with the opening of pools. These pools on Sunday are open at 10 o'clock. They should not be open at 10 o'clock on Sunday. Allow our children to go to Sunday school. Our children will, if they have the option of attending church and going to the swimming pools, you know what they'll accept. They'll take the pool first. We have to get our children back into the churches. And the pool should not be, so let me rephrase that. The pools should not open until after the benediction is given at all our churches. So please take that into consideration. The benediction should be given and the pool should be open after 12. God bless you.
Miss Phyllis,
Yes.
Phyllis,
Yes.
You know, you just gave me a serious flashback. I thought my mother was talking up there. You hear me like this, you know, because that was serious.
Okay.
We
I know
couldn't
you
do
know the hand
anything.
signals then.
We had to go to church.
Absolutely.
But I ain't gonna say what happened if we didn't go to church, but we had to. But
And
you
it
just
made a
gave me a
bad person out
thank
of
you
you.
for the reminisce. Really, thank you.
Thank you very much. Please consider those ideas and thoughts.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
My name is Randall Rogiers. My name is Randall Rogiers, Rogiers. A homeowner, and I have 13 grandchildren. We spend the summer together and we get together and we go to the pools. It's very costly. And that's not including the adults. So I heard a council member said earlier, let Jersey City do better. Well, let's do better. Let's do better for the kids for the summer. Let's do better for the adults to make sure that the kids are with them during the summer, enjoying the family time like I have with my family, so they could stay out of trouble. They could be eyed on. They could stay off of the streets. And they could also keep the fire hydrants from being run.
Hey, another flashback. Stop.
Okay. So I thank you for listening to me, but please think about the families in Jersey City who's really, really struggling, especially in these times. And it's going to get worse. So now we're getting into a summer that is going to be bad for them, and they don't need to pay an extra fee for any more things. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Reverend Deborah Alston. I'm on behalf of Bite and Bishop Bland. She could not attend tonight, and Reverend Roney. I'm gonna piggyback on Randell. You know, the last couple of winters, we have a very mild winter and we didn't have that much water. If you charge fees, you know what's gonna happen. The kids gonna go open up those fire hydrants. And homeowners, we don't want that. Because if we keep it up, if we don't have no more snow and rain, you know what summer gonna be like. We're gonna have a dry summer. If people don't believe in environmental health, climate change, thank you. You better start believing it. Because last year was Stoke Forest on fire? That never was on fire before? Look at California. We don't want those fire hydrants open. We want children, no family. Jersey City resident, no fees. Non-resident, you could charge them. But Jersey City resident, no. My son is 45 years old and I'm 65. He learned how to swim at those free swimming pools. And his sons know how to swim. I made sure my son know how to swim, and he made sure his 3 sons know how to swim. That's so important. I was a single mom. I was looking for free camps, whether it was the summer camp through this church or through the school or St. Peter's. I made sure every January by Easter time, I made sure my son was in some type of free program. And I know a lot of these single parents or parents, period, looking for a free program for their children, whether through the library or through the church programs. Please, no fees. Charge the non-resident. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maggie Branch. I am a retired social worker, and I know that the families in Jersey City are unable to pay the costs for the swimming pools. Now, I'm a taxpayer, and I know that the taxes are very high in Jersey City, and there should be some equity that will go toward the cost of the swimming pool that could sustain them and maintain them. And I'm not going to go into a whole spiel. We know that food is already high, the rents are high, and we have other costs to families. They cannot afford to pay for the swimming pool. If you have a family of 5, a mother and 5 children, it would be $40 a week just for them to go swimming and have some type of recreation. There's also lack of recreation in Jersey City. So the swimming pools are already here. Why not let them have that recreation without charging? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is.
I can't hear you. It was your mic. Your mic.
I was just practicing. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council. My name is Ada Rosario. I'm here for behalf of Jersey City Kids. I'm a mother of 5, 9 children, grandchildren, set of twins. Believe me, swimming pool keep them busy, me relax. I don't have to get sick, so that will help. Thank you. I made it simple.
Thank you.
Good evening, City Council and everybody who took the time out of their day to come here and speak and listen and learn. I'm going to be kind of quick because there are other people who spoke before me more eloquently and with more details and facts about the situation at large. But I know that in Bayonne, the pool for Bayonne in Bayonne is for Bayonne residents only. And as far as I know, they don't have to pay to go there. They have no problem keeping Jersey City residents from going there. I'm not allowed to go down there and swim, but I have friends down there who told me about this. I'm coming from a position of someone with disability. I have a very limited income, like many people have for many different reasons. And simply paying bus fare to get to the pool and to pay for the pool is something that makes me choose what I want to do with the limited funds I have. So I want to thank the 2 council members who brought this resolution forward, and I hope you guys do reverse it. And that's it. Thank you for listening to all of us.
What's your name?
My name is Anthony, and the last name, I hope you've got space. It's Inciarano, Inciarrano. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. I'm Nancy Doggett, and I have worked with young people, and I know they would look forward to having a pool whereas they do not have to pay a fee. If they give a donation, that's a different story. But many of our youth, they just starting out in life and they don't have the monies to pay the fees that they want them to pay. And we don't have beaches around here, so they need pools to go to. So if you could just reconsider and think about what they're going through with and give them a break. Show them love. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Kevin Davis, and I don't even swim. I'm usually the guy at the side of the pool wearing sneakers when my girlfriend isn't in there. But even I can tell you this is a good idea. Like, come on. There's something called taxes. We all pay into it, and we don't get everything back. I don't have kids, but I pay for other people to go to school, so I should pay for other people to go into the pool. And I don't even think it's would make much of an impact on the city budget, so taxpayers aren't even going to get soaked. And if we can afford to have an art museum, we can support the aquatic arts.
Good evening. I'm Bill Lillis, a lifelong resident of Jersey City. I think this vote to determine whether fees should be required for kids to enter the Jersey City pools defines who we are as a city. In a way, this city administration, this city council, and the Jersey City Planning Board has shown If you're interested in developing and putting up luxury homes, you're welcome and supported. If you have $3,500, $4,000 or more a month to rent these houses, again, you're welcome here. This vote shows who's supporting our kids. I grew up in Jersey City, and my mother, a lifelong resident of Jersey City, I don't think she ever made it to one of these meetings because from the 1950s to the 1980s, she was raising 10 children. And I think tonight there are mothers throughout Jersey City who are watching their kids, and they want this council to waive the fees. Not waiving the fees would mean our most vulnerable children will not be going to the pool. Vote in favor of these kids. Vote in favor of these mothers and fathers. Because if the kids are not going to be able to be at the pool, that leaves open the possibility of them getting into negative behaviors. So support the kids, support the family, waive the fees. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Terry Fox, the Executive Director for the Jersey City Moms community. We're a true community here in Jersey City. We have about 19,000 parents in our main Facebook group. We have other Facebook groups, but I came here to also ask to please reconsider the fees on the pools. Seen it conversation after conversation. A lot of them are single moms. They really are struggling about the fees on the pools and cost of living and groceries. So I would just want to, the same remnants of the gentleman before me, like, let's do this for the kids. Please reconsider this for the families. It's just a few dollars, but those few dollars mean a lot to the families here in Jersey City. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Suzanne DeFelice. Charging fees to the residents of Jersey City is frankly, I find it insensitive to the situation Jersey City finds itself in. There are millions, if not billions, of tax dollars that have magically not been collected from landlords over the past decade. These dollars should be covering the maintenance and safety of those pools and should be contributing to many other areas that benefit Jersey City residents. Instead, the council has chosen to all of a sudden put these fees on the most vulnerable residents of Jersey City. As others have said, rents are astronomical in the city, groceries are overpriced, you name it, the fee has gone up, the cost has gone up. Adding pool fees on is ignorant of the current situation of thousands in Jersey City. We need access to safe and enjoyable recreational access for all in the city. Otherwise, like everyone has said, kids are gonna end up in trouble. I am very confident you could manage to collect the fees necessary from the many large landlords who have lavishly operated in this city with their extremely full pockets. Thank you.
Good evening, Gina Davison, Gina Davison. Ward F, I am very proud to be serving Councilman Gilmore and all the efforts that he's undertaking to help his community. But tonight I am speaking to you as a resident, a 10-year resident. In fact, 9 of those years were in Bergen-Lafayette, which is one of the many reasons I'm showing my support tonight for Ordinance 25-11. Many of my friends and neighbors rely on the Lafayette pool for their summer recreation so that their families can enjoy a healthy outdoor activity. Some of us maybe have forgotten what it is like not to live with central air conditioning. There are many families in my old neighborhood who don't have a lot of options of where to go to cool down. We know that, as everybody else has said here tonight, that these fees have already caused families to not be able to use the pools during the summertime. And we are really in support of rolling these fees back. If the recreation director and other leaders were here standing in opposition, insisting upon these fees, saying that we needed them for some kind of maintenance, then we would feel differently, but that's not the case. Perishing Fields' retractable roof was just replaced, and if there's something else that requires fundraising, then let's have that conversation, but it just seems like this is something we tried, it did not work, and we should roll it back immediately. Unless that is, Mayor Fulop wants to invite all of us to his in-ground balcony pool overlooking the city skyline this summer, then I think we should roll back these fees. Thank you.
My name's Kevin Weller, Ward F, also. First, I think this is great to waive as many of these fees as possible. I think I overheard Rivera speaking, perhaps unofficially, about would it be a small change or a significant change if we removed more of the fees? And of course, that's a significant enough change that that couldn't be made tonight. But if it turns out that there is an opportunity to modify this, and if it turns out there needs to be some funding, I was just discussing with our Councilman Gilmore that perhaps there is a funding opportunity right in Ward F to fund the pools completely so that they can be free and they can be fully funded. There's a lack of balance in this city, and we hear about it a lot in this hall. In our case, a lot of times it's rent related, but we've heard other struggles in this hall. And I think one of the things you'll hear tonight from many speakers who are here every other week will involve the opportunity to hold the landlords accountable via ordinances that already exist and fee structures that already exist for the bad actors. So I think we could all agree the kids are not the bad actors, right? The kids are the good guys, and we should try to help give them the best start that we can. And the landlords, some, not all of them, but some of them have been bad actors because they're violating the rules. They're breaking the laws of this city. So I found it interesting that in 2024, the pool fees were about $50,000. This month, February, there's 28 days, shortest month of the year. Pick one of the ordinances that Equity Residential violated at Portside Towers in the month of February and find them. The ordinance required $2,000 per day, and you will have $56,000 just for February, and the pools can be free for the city for the entire year. Why don't we do that? Thank you.
My name is Eve Taylor, and I'm an accountant, and I just listened to somewhere between 20 and 30 of my neighbors begging you to be able to pay for a $5 pool fee. So this is where we are at with this city, that everyone is in such a state of poverty that we can't pay for pool fees. So I wanted to let you know that I found $85,000 that we could be using for pool fees so that my neighbors don't have to come here and beg. So that lawyer, Joseph Bauman, that you hired has given 59 donations totaling $85,000 to the mayor, Stephen Phillips Super PAC Coalition for Progress. So if he's being paid so much that he can afford to dump $85,000 into the mayor's donation account, or the mayor's getting 25 grand, 50 grand from all these big developers, that's money that the mayor's taking out for his governor campaign donations that should be used for the city that belongs to the city. So my suggestion is you should ask Mayor Fulop to give back that $85,000 so that people can use the pools here and have some recreation. Okay, thank you.
Good job. Good job. But it's a disgrace to this city. I've been here all my 77 years, and I ain't never paid a fee to go swimming. And now we allow this to happen in this city. That's one of the largest cities in the state of New Jersey, not land-wise, but we done went up into the sky. We bigger than Newark, New Jersey, population-wise. But yet, we allow this to go on in this city. And the sad part about this, we only got 3 pools. And the 2 pools are the closest is in the Heights. Why ain't it? You don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Livonia Avenue and up there on I'm born right. They are close. Laverne. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. You're right. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm born and raised here. This is my city. But them 2 pools, this man pool down there on that junction, specifically, I mean on Van Horn Street, We don't have a pool from up by Persian Field to the one on Van Horn. Ain't none coming up in Greenville. Not a pool. Not a free pool from Bay Online to Van Horn Street. Then you go up from Van Horn, you go up in them heights. The Persian Field and Pavonia pool are closer than that one pool down there on Van Horn that half of Jersey City got to go to. We allow the school system to close all our public school pools, and they renting them out right now. You can go swimming if you pay for it in our public schools. Where's that money going to that we got to go pay for the summer school, the summer pools? Where is that money going? This is a disgrace. We allow the wrong stuff in this city for our babies. For our babies. I run a summer camp and can't take kids swimming. The past 20 years, I didn't have to do that. We had a pool on Harmon Street. They closed it down. They never fixed it back up. We had Montgomery Pool. They put a field over there by the turnpike. Then they had put us a pool on Garfield for some Barry Lane. They took that out and they put a pool. We don't have but one pool for half of Jersey City to go on Van Horn Street, and then you want to charge? Then you want to charge? Or black folks? You want to charge them to go swimming? What's going on?
Motion.
This is still a public hearing on this ordinance. Any other member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Motion.
Hold on,
Hello, good evening. My name is Maureen Rios. I'm here because I was here 2 meetings back, and I want to say thank you to Denise for her team contacting me about the issue that I have in my building.
Is this about the pool?
No, not
No,
about,
not now.
okay.
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-011 made by Councilperson Rivera, second by Councilperson Saleh. To close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-011, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman. Okay, 9-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-011. For final consideration and adoption of Ordinance 25-011, Councilperson Ridley.
I'll keep my response short. I feel like if we have an opportunity and if we can offer free pools, then that's what we should be doing. We did try, it didn't generate the money that we thought it would generate. And I think that if we have the opportunity to reverse that and allow kids to go to the pool for free, we should. So with that, I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano.
Pools should be for free. I vote aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Just want to clarify that this ordinance is to make the pools free for the adults. This council last year did remove pool fees for children, and it was part of all the information that we had at the time. In order to make the pool fees free for the kids, we increased the fees on the adults. I agree with Councilman Solomon and Councilman Gilmore. Now that we have all the information that we have, that they should throw out the playbook like it's a de minimis fee. It's $120,000 that's collected across the city when you count everything, right? Pershing Field was always something that you had to pay for growing up. I could count it on my hand how many times I went. It was like a special treat for me to go to Pershing Field growing up. And, you know, I appreciate the fact that you guys did put that in the ordinance that, you know, even adults can now go to Pershing Field for free during Memorial Day to Labor Day. Pools should be free. You know, I do have a concern that the lines will get longer, but you know what? Build more pools, build more schools. That's it. You know, if the lines get longer, then maybe we should start to, you know, take that into account and find other locations to build them. And I know PS 27 has a pool, but then they outsourced it to the British Swim School. I think that needs to come back to the community, and that should be the next step. Yes. So thank you, Councilman Gilmore and Councilman Solomon, for throwing out the playbook and saying, hey, like, pools should be free. All right. With that, I vote aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Or just very briefly, so thank you to my colleagues for working with us on this. Thank you to Councilman Gilmore for co-sponsoring, and thank you to, I think it was nearly 30 speakers that came out and spoke. So we're very grateful for your voices. And just, you know, very simply, you know, we tried something as a city. It didn't work for a variety of reasons, but most importantly, it's our pools are they're public, they're ours, right? And everybody needs them. So many people spoke eloquently about having 13 grandchildren, about living paycheck to paycheck, and those folks deserve safe summer recreation opportunities for themselves and their kids, that families can come together, that our job as a city is to make those opportunities as available as possible, as accessible as possible, make sure that every family in Jersey City has access to every single opportunity possible. So I think that's why this was the right move, and I'm proud to vote aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
First, excuse me, I'd like to thank my council colleagues for voting on this measure. Thank you to Councilman Solomon for co-sponsoring this legislation as well. I just think that is extremely important that we make sure youth have productive ways to spend their time. If we thought that we will generate a certain amount of money from these pools. In fact, I even thought that with Lafayette Pool was under Green Acres, come to find out it's not even under Green Acres. But what really brought this to reality for me is when I was down the pool, the young lady, she didn't know it was a fee now. So she was bringing a group of kids in, and when they told her it was a fee, she's like, why are we charging for the pool? She don't have money on her. And because I didn't want her to turn around, I offered to pay so she could come in the pool with the kids. And I made myself available to go down to the pool just to watch the transaction, how things were looking, who was doing what, who had access to the pool. And at every turn I looked, it was a disaster. It didn't work. It just didn't work. And I'm someone who come from recreation. I understand the importance of recreation. So that's why we thought it was fitting to revisit this pool fee and determine that we shouldn't be collecting any money. I don't think it's 100 and something. We can find a way to pay for that. It's not a lot. So I'll probably vote aye 2 times.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Yeah, I can't go without saying something, all right? So, I was born and raised in downtown, where in downtown was considered the land that God forgot. It's 87% Puerto Ricans in downtown. I lived right next to PS 16 at 108 Sussex in an alleged brothel house. So I didn't grow up with a free pool. Actually, PS 16 used to charge the residents in downtown. So as a kid growing up, we were trained to open up that fire hydrant. So we hid that monkey wrench underneath on top of the tires. Not that I'm encouraging this, but we hid that monkey wrench on top of the tire. Cops used to come by, where's the monkey wrench? We have no clue. And here I am as a councilman, but I'm just speaking to you reality, right? You know, so when I hear that, you know, that it used to be free pool, I didn't grow up, and downtown was as poor can be. It's not this downtown that you see now. So I don't know, and my Spanish and Puerto Rican community and the Dominican community that was there, we don't know what it was to have a free pool. But we know what it was to open up that fire hydrant, especially at 5 o'clock in the morning. Every woman in that 108 Sussex used to yell downstairs, "My water is dirty. Shut that fire hydrant off." So, I think that the ordinance is amazing. Thank you, Frank, Solomon, you guys knocked it out the park. To the rest of the council, it is amazing that we have something like this, but I just want, I'm humbled and I'm happy, but I was that kid on the outside looking in. I had to pay it was $1, and if you wanted to stay in the low chlorine side, it was $1.50. So they had a bougie side for more chlorine. So I proudly vote aye. Great job.
Council President Waterman.
I vote aye. Chlorine.
Okay, city ordinance number 25-011 is adopted 9-0.
Chlorine, sir.
Okay. On to our next second reading ordinance, item 4.4, city ordinance 25-012 is an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 3, parking, standing and stopping, amending section 332-24, parking prohibited certain hours at PS 1696 Sussex Street. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close a public hearing on city ordinance 25-012 made by Councilperson Rivera. Second by
Council President.
Council President Waterman. Okay. To close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-012, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano's not at. There he goes. Okay, thank you. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Do it like.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-012 carries 9-0. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 25-012, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Not here.
Left out.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman. Okay, city ordinance 25-012 is adopted 8-0. Okay, item 4.5, city ordinance 25-013 is an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 9, parking for the disabled of the Jersey City Code, designating a reserved parking space at various locations throughout the city. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion to close a public hearing on city ordinance 25-013 made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. To close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-013, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano. Not here still, sorry. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-013 carries 8-0. For final consideration and adoption of city ordinance 25-013, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajiano is still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore, Councilperson DeJeece,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, city ordinance number 25-013 is adopted 8-0. Okay, item 4.6, city ordinance 25-014 is an ordinance supplementing chapter 332 vehicles and traffic, article 2 traffic regulations, section 332-8 prohibited right turns on red signal to prohibit turns on red at all times at multiple locations in proximity to schools, parks, and projected bicycle lanes. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-014 made by Council President Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. To close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-014, Councilperson Ridley. Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Caggiano still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-014. For final consideration and adoption of city ordinance 25-014, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Caggiano still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, city ordinance 25-014 is adopted 8-0. Okay, item 4.7, city ordinance 25-015, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332 vehicles and traffic, article 3 parking, standing and stopping, amending section 332-24, parking prohibited certain hours at PS 37 along 9th Street east of Erie Street. This is a public hearing for this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close a public hearing on city ordinance 25-015 made by Councilperson Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Slay. To close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-015, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeJeece.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-015. For final consideration and adoption of ordinance number 25-015, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Bajano still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, city ordinance number 25-015 is adopted 8-0. Item 4.8, city ordinance 016, an ordinance supplementing chapter 332, vehicles and traffic, article 3, parking, standing and stopping, amending section 332-24, parking prohibited certain hours at Danforth Avenue, Early Childhood Center, 160 Danforth Avenue. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion to close a public hearing on ordinance 25-016 made by Councilperson Rivera, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. To close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-016, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Not here still. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore. Councilperson DeJeece. Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 8-0 to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-016. For final consideration and adoption of city ordinance 25-016, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano still not here. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore, Councilperson DeJeece,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman,
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Can I take your vote for this one since you came back?
Yes.
Aye, okay, thank you. City Ordinance number 25-016 is adopted 9-0. Okay, item 4.9, City Ordinance 25-016 is an ordinance approving a 23-year tax exemption and authorizing a financial agreement for a multi-site affordable rental project previously renovated by Roosevelt Avenue redevelopment urban renewal, pursuant to the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Act of 1983 and amended and supplemented NJSA 55:14K-1 and rules promulgated under NJAC 5:80-1. This is a public hearing for this ordinance. We have some people up. Can you please just clearly state your name for the record?
Sure. Good evening, Council. My name is John Robinson. I am the owner of Gotta Go Gaming and also Gotta Go Gaming Hub. And I would like to, I'm a proponent of City Crossings. That's how I know them. My business, Gotta Go Gaming and Gotta Go Gaming Hub, have done business with City Crossings for a few years now. And one of the things that I wanted to mention, I just wanted to highlight, is the fact that they tend to promote multi-generational discourse and dialogue. So every summer or during the fall, when we actually have events with them, there's different generations from the youngest to the oldest. You know, as some of the council members here know, and maybe some people in the audience know, you know, we do gaming and we also do technology. And so it's great to be able to partner with an organization such as City Crossing to that promotes multi-generational discourse. One of the other things that I wanted to mention, and this is kind of a given with them, is they also promote a sense of community. So you see everyone out there from the youngest to the oldest, you know, you see all different ethnicities, different cultures. We get a chance to have a good time and intermingle with one another. So I'm definitely a proponent and hopefully you all will support it. Thank you.
I'm Trina Hinton. I'm actually from the Jersey City Housing Authority. I think most of the council members know me. I just want you to know I didn't jump ship, but I am definitely here in support of City Crossing. We have been working with them for over 3 years, providing resident services. And as John Robinson, who spoke before me, said, the one thing that I really love is that management and residents work together. You know, management really encourages to have resident involvement. And I've seen that since we've been doing social services with them. We have been partnering with them to provide workforce development, job training, education, social services, digital equity. So, you know, I can tell you over the 3 years, you know, when we sit down to the table, we are having valuable conversations. You know, the questions are being asked, you know, how will this affect? How is this going to improve the community as a whole? I see people are coming out who, prior to City Crossing taking over this property, who didn't even know, you know, about the programs at the local libraries, you know, the programs that go on at the Jersey City Medical Center. And since City Crossing took over, they have been exposing the residents to all of the resources that are available to them locally. You know, they give them a voice to speak up and to let them know what they want, you know, and how they feel about their community, what's important in their community. And I can tell you that management truly listens to them. And I would just want to say that I am here giving 100% support because I know that they are a great group, both management and the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. Excuse me. Can you please just say your name for the record again, please? I'm so sorry I missed it in the beginning.
Hinton, Hinton.
Thank you. Sorry.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Arone, and I'm with Greater Bergen Community Action. And I have been working in the housing field since 1994, so I have a lot of experience dealing with tenant-landlord issues. I wear a lot of hats, and one of them is working with social service type programs with Greater Bergen. And we were working in partnership with City Crossing, and I cannot say enough for how impressed I am by that community. It is unique in the sense that it is an opportunity not just to have an affordable place to live, but to have a community, to have resources available. While working there as a community coordinator, we worked with families to make sure their needs were met. We brought resources into the community, and there is a real sense of camaraderie and community there. There are people who've been living there for 40 years. We all know that the cost of living has become very difficult. This is a crucial piece of housing to keep affordable housing in Jersey City. And I cannot say enough for the work that Wynn Company City Crossing does to make it a wonderful community and place for the residents there. Thank you.
Tina, get on top of it. See the stuff they got going on? All right, I got you. But council, pass this with high colors, and we want to bring Councilman Gilmore. Let's bring some of that up there on Oak Street. Some of them outreaches. Thank you.
This is still,
Second.
this is still a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close a public hearing on city ordinance 25-017 made by Councilperson Waterman, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. To close a public hearing on city ordinance 25-017, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh. Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 9-0 to close the public hearing on city ordinance 25-017. For final consideration and adoption of city ordinance 25-017, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Baggiano. Councilperson Saleh.
Thank you to all those that came out and spoke, and I vote aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Appreciate those who spoke. Unfortunately, I'm going to vote no because I don't see the extension of either the number of affordable units or the term of the affordability. I guess it was supposed to be done when it was originally sold 10 years ago, but I'm not sure why it didn't happen. But at this point, that's not before us. So my vote's a no.
Councilperson Gilmore.
I want to thank everyone who came to speak out. Thank City Crossing for the good job they're doing over there as it relates to management. I'll probably vote aye. This community is extremely near and dear to me, as me and my family once occupied a house in this affordable unit. And I think that when we have an opportunity to make sure some of our most vulnerable residents have reasonable rents, that we have to take advantage of that opportunity. So I vote aye.
Councilperson DeGise.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, city ordinance number 25-017 is adopted 8-0 with a nay from Councilperson Solomon. Okay, on to item 4.10, City Ordinance 25-018 is a franchise ordinance granting permission to St. George and St. Chunada Coptic Orthodox.
Yeah, I thought we carried this.
This one.
We're
Yes, I
carrying
I
this,
still have
right?
to read it into the record.
Oh, you go?
I got.
Let me let you do your job. And I mean, you ain't telling me how to do my, I apologize. It's the second time we did
She's
that.
2 for
I
2.
apologize, young.
Okay, thank you. I was actually pretty proud of myself for saying it correctly. To encroach onto the public right of way sidewalk along the frontage of 395 Zip Avenue, block 11801.01, lot 1. As discussed in the caucus on Monday, we are going to carry this ordinance to the March 12th council meeting. Are we in agreement with that law on BA?
Correct, yep.
Motion.
Second.
Motion to carry this ordinance to the March 12th council meeting made by Councilperson Gil,
Second.
second by Councilperson Rivera. Okay, motion to carry this ordinance to the March 12th meeting. Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon. Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Tatis.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
A motion carries 9-0 to carry this ordinance 25-018 to the March 12th council meeting. Item 4.11, City Ordinance 25-019 is an ordinance authorizing the City of Jersey City to execute an extension of a lease with the New Jersey Schools Development Authority on the real property at Block 21102, Lot 52 of the city's tax map located at 70 Iggy Avenue for the purposes of temporary parking for the Via Jersey City service. This is a public hearing on this ordinance. Any member of the public wishing to be heard?
Motion.
Second.
Motion to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-019 made by Council President Waterman, I'm sorry, seconded by Councilperson Saleh. To close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-019, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano. Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
Aye.
Councilperson Tatis.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries 9-0 to close the public hearing on City Ordinance 25-019. For final consideration and adoption of City Ordinance 25-019, Councilperson Ridley.
Aye.
Councilperson Prinzary.
Aye.
Councilperson Bajano.
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh.
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon.
Aye.
Councilperson Gilmore.
I'm gonna vote no, because I know back some time ago, we did one extension. Well, before that, I just didn't understand why we were providing parking for a private entity in the first place, but we did one extension, then we did another one. They said that would be the last one, and now here it is, another one. They still have not done anything to address the extra fumes that's in the area. And again, I just think whenever it's a private entity that's making money, they should be able to provide their own things they need to operate their business. So I'll vote no.
Councilperson Tatis.
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera.
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay. The City Ordinance 25-019 is adopted 8-0 with a nay from Councilperson Gilmore. Okay, we are on to our public speaking portion.
Oh, Amanda, I have to go early. So if I can, vote on the resolutions. And also, I just want to ask the BA, it did, what's her name again? Finance Director Carmen. Did she get a chance to send, I know she said she was gonna look and send us some. Did she get a chance to do that with regards to the payment?
No, I don't believe she's located it yet. I know she is searching for it. So, once she gets it, we'll be able to provide it to you.
So do we vote on it or what do we? Oh, okay. All right. All right, Amanda.
Okay, so I'll go with the claims and addendums 1 and 2.
Aye.
You. Resolutions 10.1 to 10.10. Yes.
No, aye.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were reviewing. I'm sorry. Resolutions 10.11 to 10.21.
10.1.
Say that again, Amanda.
10.11 to 10.21 item, the resolutions. Resolutions 10.22 to 10.26.
Except for 26. Didn't get any of the documentations. I vote aye on all except for 26. We didn't receive any of the documentation as it relates to if in fact the city was actually paid the recapture amount. So I just don't feel confident voting yes, not knowing that we received said funds. I vote aye on the rest.
Thank you. So we will go to our public hearing portion. First person, 5.1, Laverne Webb, Washington.
Good evening again. Before you go, Councilman Gilmore, if any assistance that I can get the community to do, see about us opening up another pool. We own
Amanda.
Harmon Street Pool, been closed for 20 years. The building and stuff, you know, we need to bring something back in your area, up that way, another pool to bounce it off. Because we got kids, I have a summer camp. I got nowhere to take them. I have to take them to the park and they had to go in the shower. Because I'm not paying that money for 40, 50 kids to go swimming. It don't make sense. And another thing, we need to step up with the affordable housing in our area. The city public housing authority is doing a great job of bringing more affordable houses in our area. Like they took over the Webb building and they took it over building on Grand Avenue and Bergen. We need to support the Jersey City Housing Authority more so we can get things done for our community because it's getting ready to get hot and there's a lot of homeless people. People can't afford this rent here no more. And I know it's election time, but let's put this out front. Take care of the community. People need us. Have a blessed time. I'm out of here. Bye.
Okay, 5.2, Tina Knowles.
Yes, I work for Education at Gilmore, but I'm speaking upon myself right now, I wanted to say that me doing outreach for Jersey City for the organizations I seen that when I called Bayonne to let them know that they had a list open for apartment, could I send someone over there? And their response was yes, they'll put them on a list, but they take care of their own in Bayonne. I thought that was dope. I'm like, oh, wow. So you telling me y'all don't take care of Jersey City first. Y'all going to take care of your own town and then y'all come and help us. That's what we should do here. It's no way that we keep talking about the same stuff every 4 and 5 years about the same about housing. Right now, we ain't got about 10 people from sleeping in their cars that been sleeping in their cars for a minute. It's no way that people are still sleeping in their cars. It's no way that we don't have nowhere to live in our community, that they've been born here, that they was raised here, but the rent is too high for them to live here. We have to do better as coming together, just like we came together about the pool. I believe that we all put our head together and not think about ourselves and think about the community. I think that more stuff would happen and would get done in the community. I just wanted to say to y'all guys, thank you guys for tonight by coming together and talking about the pool. I would love to also see the Martin Luther King parade back in Jersey City too. We also do a lot of different parades here in Jersey City, but we don't have our own culture. I'm from Alabama, and I see that I do interact with every culture that do something, but to see that we don't have our own, to appreciate where we came from, it's like a problem and it bother me to see that we forget about how long we had struggled and what we went through. I would love for us to come and do the parade for Martin Luther King. Just like everybody go through trouble, every fights, every problems, we also can be able to be forgive and have our parade. Justice for Drew, y'all. Justice for Drew. Mental health is next month, guys. I don't never want y'all to forget Justice for Drew, because mental health is definite. It's in our community. So please, guys, let's come together for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
5.3, Edward Perkins.
It's been 18 months. I just read an article. Thank you very much, Jersey City Times, for your service. 18 months since the Jersey City Police Department murdered Andrew Washington. And you're right, it is election season, Edward. And you all deserve, or you all have to answer for Drew's death. That's right, the Attorney General's been busy because we have bigger problems at the federal level, right? So he's busy doing his thing. And what is he doing about Drew and Drew's case? We've been coming here bi-weekly. What is the city doing? Arrive Together is finally here. You all are probably knowledgeable about the CCTR grant, right? What's happening with the Public Safety Department and de-escalation and the use of force and how the police respond to us, and then how they respond differently historically in Black and Brown communities. Drew's family has not gotten justice. Our community has not been served. And although this administration, although he isn't an ally, what authority does this body have? It's seemingly everyone here is against this family and against justice. We haven't seen you do your due diligence. Absolutely not. And you're undeserving of further support. And that's just the truth. There's more to it than mental health with policing. Jim McGreevey running for mayor, okay, with an op-ed in the same publication, okay, Jersey City Times, his view of public safety and policing. Thank God that we finally have a view on what's happening with crime, but crime has risen. Mayor Fulop has been lying to us. And what have you all been doing to keep him honest? We've been trying to hold you all accountable. It's like you run from accountability. You hate accountability in this place, but you can't run from it. You won't run from me. You will not. What our city needs is leaders like Frank Gilmore, you know, who are independent, not beholden to any one corporation, any one developer, or any one leader or party. A shining example of what leadership should be like here. You know, like a voice for the people. This is a sorry place where it's just sorry leadership. And we are deserving of more, much better.
Kevin Davis.
Interesting discussion earlier on the Franklin and Manhattan proposed protected bike lane. I was under the impression that there weren't the votes for the Manhattan protected bike lane, but I'm hopeful after tonight, as well as for Franklin. As someone who lives in the Heights and who bikes, I would benefit from it. I did have two ideas for things the city could study to address some of the concerns about protected bike lanes in general. Now, the other night, I was in front of Dorian's on Washington Boulevard. I was not doing stand-up comedy. I saved that for the city council meetings and op-eds. I was counting the number of bikers in between Chef Tan, the Sichuan place, and Kira Sushi, the revolving sushi place. And I was counting the number of bikers, and it's a PBL there, so it's one of the safest bike areas around. So I was counting the number of bikers running red lights, riding on the sidewalk, going the wrong direction. 33%, and I got a sample of over 150. 33% rode on the sidewalk. 24% ran a red light, and 22% went the wrong way. So that was a little bit better than I was expecting. Because I know I saw a council member raise his eyebrows because it feels like it's worse. Certain areas of the city where I've also been getting numbers myself are a little bit worse. So the protected bike lanes do help with getting compliance. But it means that protected bike lanes alone aren't going to solve the issue of bad bikers. So I think the city, rather than me, should do the study on the number of bikers and the percentage of them that are compliant. Now, the other idea I had, oh my God, 1 minute left. The other idea I had was I was biking down here and there was a car double parked. And I thought, what if there's an emergency? That's going to take the fire truck longer to get through. So it's not just protected bike lanes that may cause a delay, it's other factors as well. So what if we quantified how many seconds it adds for emergency vehicle trips for protected bike lanes, for double parked cars, for parking at a fire hydrant, all those violations combined? Why don't we put a number on it? So whether or not we build them or not, I really hope we do build them, we could figure out ways to have faster emergency response times.
Gina Davison.
Gina Davison, Ward F. Tonight, I want to talk to you about animal welfare. And I want to commend Stacy Flanagan and her team for all their great work in 2024. Back in December at the HHS budget hearing, it was clear that this team continues to do a whole lot with very little. Excuse me. As you all know, I'm embedded in the animal rescue work in this city. Myself and 6 other animal advocate leaders, we're talking this week about what incredible positive change has taken place since the city has taken over shelter services for Jersey City. Expectations have been very much exceeded. You all heard that euthanasia rates listed in December. They came in around 6% for 2024. The national benchmark to consider a shelter a no-kill shelter is actually 10%. So in the very first year of operation, this city managed to hit an exceptional rate of care for these animals. And so we have a lot of work still to do, but they're doing an amazing job. In fact, myself and others came to you at the beginning of 2024 with doubts about how the city would handle this incredible task. And so I stand here corrected that, again, the work that has been done by Stacy and her team has been exemplary. And the reason I say this to you all is because, again, during that conversation this week with a bunch of the other rescue organizations that I partner with, there were concerns brought up about the changing administration that we'll be facing. And so this is why I want to make sure that we all understand where the hard work is happening and who has had success in the animal rescue work here in Jersey City, because when it comes time to change administrations, we do not want to lose the progress that we have made. So short of convincing everyone who is running for mayor of Jersey City to please keep this team on in 2026 and beyond, we are just going to come and talk to you for the next couple months about the great work that is being done. Because again, we don't want to lose all this great progress. For the past over 10 years, all of us rescue organizations were telling residents not to go to LHS. We were saying, if you go there, you'll never see the animal again. And we don't know what happens behind those closed doors. But that has changed. The doors of the shelter are wide open. I'm there every week. Personally, my rescue organization, I've been able to get 22 cats spayed, neutered, rabies vaccine, distemper, make sure they don't have FIV and other communicable diseases. therefore making their lives more enjoyable and making our residents and our pets safer. So again, I just want to thank the HHS team for the incredible strides in animal rescue and care that have happened in the city, and you'll be hearing more from me as the months go on. Thank you.
Thank you.
5.6, Danielle.
Good evening again, council members. Danielle D'Adamo, Ward C. I'm here tonight because we need to talk about the future of Jersey City, not just in terms of parking spaces, but in terms of affordability, sustainability, and community investment. We hear a lot about affordable housing, but I have to ask, how do parking mandates, which drive up construction costs, fit into the plan? Are we building for the people who need housing the most, or just for those who can afford multiple cars? If we're serious about affordability, we need to rethink policies that make housing more expensive. And while we're on the subject of priorities, let's talk about infrastructure. We hear a lot of talk about parking, but where's that same energy for sustainability? Climate change isn't a problem for the next council, it's happening now. Investing in sustainable transportation options isn't just about convenience, it's about our city's long-term future. Then there's the issue of safety. We hear it all the time. Safety, safety, safety. But if safety is truly a priority, where are the plans for better lighting, pedestrian-friendly streets, and safer intersections? Because right now, it feels like safety only means making sure cars have plenty of places to park. Take the proposed protected bike lanes on Franklin Street and Manhattan Avenue. We know they work. According to Jersey City's 2024 Vision Zero annual report, our protected bike lane network grew by 21% last year, and traffic fatalities under city jurisdiction have dropped by 50%. These lanes aren't luxuries, they save lives. And yet, instead of focusing on these facts, some critics would rather spread misinformation by blaming cyclists for everything. Here's the reality. Bikes at JC and the city have been working together for years to educate kids on safe cycling through the Kids Ride program. Teaching young riders how to use protected bike lanes properly helps create responsible future cyclists. That's what real investment in safety looks like. We have an opportunity here, not just to build more parking lots, but to build a safer, more sustainable, and more vibrant community. Let's make sure we don't let outdated priorities get in the way of progress. Thank you.
5.7, Ashley. Not here. Okay. 5.8, Maureen.
Good evening. I was here on January 15th for the other meeting, and I spoke about my landlord. Denise Riley reached out to me, and her team helped me do some stuff that I needed to do, which I did. As of right now, I'm living with no stove in my apartment for a month and a half, which means we cannot cook in my home. ESG shut off my gas because it was a gas leak. Our fire escapes are very unsafe. The city gave my landlord 21 violations, and that's only counting my apartment. That's not counting the whole building. There's 14 families in this building. I don't know how the state comes to this building and they passed this landlord. I went to the court on the 20th, the 20th of February for the violations. We did a Zoom and he was a no-show. He has another court date on the 10th for violation, for these violations. If he don't show up, I think there's a bench warrant for his arrest or something like that, they were saying. But I want to know, what can the city do for us? because there's 14 family in this building. You have senior citizens in this building. Some of them are scared to speak about what's going on in their apartment. We have plumbing leaks from other apartments going into other apartments. That's not even counting other stuff that's happening in this building. He comes in the building. The daughter is the city inspector in Union City. She works for the city of Union City, and she gets involved, and she tells us she's not going to fix because this is a rent control building, and we pay low rent. I have a video from the wife telling me that I pay low rent, and because I pay low rent, she's not going to fix. I don't understand how this landlord continue to treat us like this. This is inhumane. Having no stove, no flushing toilet, because I don't have a flushing toilet. I have to put water in my toilet to flush it. My tub, I have the faucet doesn't work. Where it says hot water, it's cold water. Where it says cold water is hot water. And sometimes it shut off on us. He shut off my light from the basement. He turned off my lights. And because I have the switch in my apartment, I was able to turn it back on. This is crazy. And yesterday I had another incident. Today we had another incident because we know they sell in the building. That's another thing. I think we are being pushed out. There's a lady that comes to our building. Supposedly, I don't know. We don't know who she is. All we know, she comes to this building and she asks the tenants, what apartment you live in. Why we have someone that we don't know who she is, she doesn't identify herself, questioning us.
Thank you. You know
Thank
what?
you.
Denise, you done talk to her, right? Reach out to Charlene. Yeah.
5.9, Sarah?
It's horrible.
No? Okay. 5.10, Charlene?
Say.
Okay. 5.11, Terrence? No? 5.12, Dana?
The court's doing.
Hello, my name is Dana. I'm here to advocate for the Franklin Manhattan bike lane. The last couple of times I was here, I talked about safety, and all of that still applies. But tonight I want to talk about a specific situation I recently found myself in, and I'm sure others may have as well. You're at Journal Square. Your cell phone died, and you're trying to make it home on a Sunday afternoon. You didn't drive to Journal Square because you're one of the 41% of households in Jersey City without a car. You didn't bike to Journal Square because you don't feel safe without a protected bike lane. You don't want to walk because your home is over 2 miles away. How are you getting home? If you live near Journal Square and you're physically able, you might be able to walk, but I hope you don't get hit by a car on the way home. If you're going downtown, that's pretty easy because you can only wait for a path for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. After that, it gets a little tricky. I live in Ward D. I prefer to take buses down the boulevard. And let's say it takes me about 5 minutes to get my pass and to find the gate because it does keep changing. I might be able to make the 121088, but if I miss that one, the next one is 40 minutes later. I can also take the 125, and that's going to be a mere 20-minute wait. This all assumes that New Jersey Transit, which is known for its punctuality, is on time, and that I know which numbers to take. You may object to this scenario and say I should have gotten a better bus, used a specific app, or used some other way of getting home, but I mentioned your phone is dead, right? There are no paper schedules at Journal Square. There are no screens telling you when the next bus is coming. You are in an information black hole until your next bus comes. And if it's 20 degrees outside, I really hope you dressed warm. New York City subway headways during off-peak hours are 8 to 12 minutes, and I've certainly waited longer. I know a lot of us have. And at the very least, I know when it's coming. In comparison, long headways are an everyday, night and weekend reality if you take the bus in Jersey City, and you have no idea when it's going to be there. Safety is a critically important reason to build infrastructure, but we can't keep avoiding the very real problem that public transportation is failing us here in Jersey City. It is very challenging to get around certain neighborhoods without owning a car or having to pay for a taxi or having access to a smartphone. We need subways, we need light rail, we need protected bike lanes. There are 0 miles of protected bike lanes in the Heights. The Franklin Manhattan bike lane is one step to making our city more accessible to folks without a car. We need options not only to make it safer for cyclists, people on scooters and pedestrians, but also to alleviate traffic for drivers. This lane doesn't just help cyclists, it helps everyone. And I hope that you all will support the next time it comes up for a vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
5.13, Anne Marie.
Good evening, Anne Marie Nazaro, but you have that. We live in an historic, disrupted time again. We have questions, we want to raise them. You as counselors, you share this. We hear it in your voices. You have questions, and the sadness and frustration come when the answers don't follow the questions, even if you wait and repeat and wait again. On the February 13th council meeting here in this chamber, several of you, in particular, Councilor Baggio and Gilmore, fervently described asking for an upgrade to our 911 system. You said, actually, I think it was you, Mr. Baggio, who said, the system is broken and understaffed. Other counselors joined in with that frustration, saying, we don't get a response. Though we ask and we email public safety, we don't get a response. We want to speak about this as Jersey City Together and the Public Health Public Safety Committee of Jersey City Together, because you recall the 911 system is so integral to our proposal for a behavioral health response when a mentally challenged or substance challenged community member has a crisis. We need that system robust. We need those answers. We need answers and actions. And that would make some amends, very small, but some amends to Drew Washington, who lost his life when the training of 911 and the response wasn't quite what it could have been if we do the gold standard program that Jersey City Together is proposing. Also, my second item tonight is just to say that we actually have some money in the budget. We have the behavioral health response money of $1.2 million. Please nod your heads and tell me, yes, we've safeguarded it, it's still there. Could this in some way help with this area? It's integral to a good behavioral health response. Does HHS have jurisdiction over some of that money? I believe they do, because they were the ones who are generating the RFPs to try to let out the money. If they do, could they team up to make sure the 911 system is operational at a high level, and also that the responders are special people. They need training. They are the frontliners. Please, please, we'll help you. Let's get it done.
Thank you.
5.14, William.
Bill Lilith, a member of Our Lady of Sorrows Parish, also a member of the Jersey City Together Health and Public Safety Committee. I too want to note that as far as we're concerned, there is that $1.2 million available not being utilized. The funding was approved by this council for the hiring of outreach workers, and as this money has not been spent, we at Jersey City Together would like to meet with members of the council and appropriate members of the administration to see how that funding could be used in a manner that makes sense. However, we have strong reservations about that money falling into the hands and under the control of the Department of Public Safety, as little has been done by that department to address this particular issue. I also want to make the council aware that we at Jersey City Together have been in communication with the Hudson County Anti-Violence Coalition, as that organization received funding to address this particular issue, to hire outreach workers. Unfortunately, the state attorney general's office has yet to release funding to get this program underway. So we support the Anti-Violence Coalition in their efforts to get this program going. And letting you know that another anniversary on the death of George Floyd is soon occurring. We at Jersey City Together will continue to work and advocate for our city to put a program of a continuing of care that serves our residents dealing with mental health and substance abuse issues. And we support the family of Jude Washington for their push for justice and for their hard work to ensure that what happened to Drew does not happen again to other people. Thank you.
5.15, Kevin.
Good evening, City Council. This weekend, I attended an event at a Jersey City church hosted by Jersey City Together. Fortunately, the mayor was there. And let me tell you, what he had to say was powerful. He focused on rent control enforcement. I was able to obtain a transcript, so I'll read what he actually said, and I want everyone to listen very carefully. Quote from the mayor. One thing I would recommend from my experience with rent control buildings, a lot of larger buildings either have never filed a proper claim for exemption or the 30-year exemption has expired. So rent boards in Jersey City are determining that certain buildings that didn't comply with the proper procedure are actually under rent control. That is being litigated, but enforcement is key. In Jersey City, you can have the law, I think it's chapter 260, but if the city government isn't enforcing it, you're only going halfway. Then he continued. There's a large 200+ unit building we determined was under rent control. They ignored us. We went to the municipal prosecutor. I told them to issue a summons to the landlord. The landlord didn't show up. Eventually they did, and we got them to register their rents with the rent control office. They sued us in federal court. We got that dismissed. Then they sued us in state court. That case is pending, but they're still under rent control. They're still not complying, so we're working with the tenants to issue further summonses to actually enforce rent control. Still quoting the mayor. For Jersey City, it's critical to work with the administration and prosecutor's office to say, we have a law and your job at City Hall is to enforce it, right? Isn't that the administration's job, especially when corporate landlords of big buildings raise rents beyond what's allowed under rent control? You have to enforce the ordinance. If there aren't strong enforcement mechanisms, the law has no teeth. Then he finished by saying, this has to be aggressively prosecuted. The directive has to come from the city administration to the chief prosecutor that these are our laws. They're part of Jersey City code, and it's the administration's job to enforce them. The prosecutor has to issue summonses and drag landlords to court. That's how you fight. It was hard not to get emotional hearing the mayor speak the truth in the Jersey City church. So thank you, Mayor Bala from Hoboken, who spoke the truth at this Jersey City event where our mayor was nowhere to be found. Thank you.
5.16, Sylvia.
Good evening, City Council. We hear the word enforcement thrown around a lot. But what does it actually mean? If you ask tenants, enforcement means action. It means stopping illegal rent increases, forcing compliance with the law, and holding landlords accountable. It means protecting people from being priced out of their homes. Enforcement is not a once-a-year letter that gets ignored. Enforcement is not waiting for landlords to voluntarily comply. Enforcement is daily fines. Enforcement is regular summonses. Enforcement means landlords feel consequences every single day that they violate the law. Every single day. Let's talk about what happens when enforcement is weak. A single summons in a year isn't enforcement, it's theater. A letter warning of potential consequences without ever delivering those consequences teaches landlords one thing: they can and they will ignore the city. If a tenant breaks their lease, they are taken to court. If a landlord breaks rent control laws, they get a warning and keep collecting illegal rent for more than a year. The ordinance is clear. The Bureau of Rent Leveling has the power to bring appropriate legal charges. The law gives the city the tools, but laws mean nothing without action. If you won't issue fines, you're telling landlords the law is meaningless. If you won't bring legal charges, you're telling tenants they are unprotected. So I ask this council, will Jersey City enforce its laws? Will Director Richardson issue daily fines? Will Director Richardson issue regular summonses? Will his office put violations on record in court where they cannot be ignored? Or will landlords continue treating the law as an optional suggestion? Richardson has to treat his determination as the binding orders the ordinance demands. Our landlords will believe they are just suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you.
5.17, Angelo. Oh, Angelo.
With Angelo Rusciano. Recently came here from New York City. I'm an architect and wanted to come here to move, and I found out that there was this rent problem. And on knowing my friend Eve Taylor, after the council meeting last time, she joined a conversation and she shared something very shocking. She said that the director Richardson told her his rent audit determinations are really just suggestions. And if landlord ignores them, there's nothing the landlord tenant office can do. Now let's review that this section 260-9 states the Bureau of Rent Leveling under the direction of Rent Leveling Administration shall have the following powers and functions: to remedy violations of this chapter by adjusting rental and ordering rebates, bringing appropriate legal change. But if landlords treat rent control as optional, maybe that's because the director is told by Jersey City Hall that rent prices and enforcement powers are only suggestions. So the city has to make a choice every time landlords defy binding determinations and the city does nothing. This is making a choice. Every time tenant reports violations and nothing happens, this is making a choice. Every time, enforcement does not mean politely reminding landlords that there is a law. It means taking action. It means making fines. It means legal action, especially in violations. It means ensuring rent control is respected. As this is the future of us, I'm very passionate about everybody having a place to live, everybody having a place to lock their door, and seeing professionals live in their car. And this paradigm that I notice as an architect, I'm very passionate about the solution to this and noticing this as where it's coming from. I'm hoping that, there's something that can be done. Here we are.
5.18, Barbara.
Good evening, City Council. I have great respect for facts and truth. Apparently, that's not reality for all Americans, and certainly not reality for the powers running Jersey City. Fact number one, Portside Tower tenants October 2023, won a ruling by the Jersey City Rent Leveling Board confirming that our buildings are indeed protected by Jersey City's rent control law under Ordinance 260. Reality, 2 years later, we are headed into March of 2025, and that ruling is still languishing unenforced. Despite Portside Towers showing up here every city council meeting begging for help. Mayor of our neighboring city of Hoboken, Mayor Ravi Bala, recently spoke to Jersey City renters about the importance of rent control enforcement, specifically during ongoing litigation. I am not a lawyer, but Mayor Bala is a highly respected civil rights lawyer, a mayor, and soon to be New Jersey Assemblyman. If litigation really paused the law, all landlords would have to do is keep a case going forever, and they would never have to follow the law. Right now, it seems that only works in Jersey City. Fact number 2, Section 260-9 explicitly gives the Director of Landlord-Tenant Relations, Chiron Richardson, the power to, quote, remedy violations by adjusting rentals, ordering rebates, and bringing appropriate legal charges, unquote. In reality, landlords treat Director Richardson's determinations as mere suggestions. They ignore the law without facing any daily fines or legal consequences. Why not do the right thing? Follow Mayor Bala's lead and take regular enforcement action. Sorry. Okay. Fact number 3, Section 260-17 states that, quote, each day a violation continues shall constitute a separate offense, unquote. Reality, not a single daily fine has been issued against our landlord, Equity, despite continuous violations since the October 2023 ruling. Director Richardson, don't you think Equity would have gotten a stay of the Rent Leveling Board's determination confirming rent control at Portside Towers if Equity thought a federal judge would grant one? The judge did not issue a stay. Why are you pressing pause on your legal enforcement?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
5.19, Mark.
Members of the City Council, I'm here again, not with a new grievance, but the same urgent plea I've voiced repeatedly since November 2023. Portside tenants demand, yes, demand uniform security on the premises as mandated by the Jersey City Code. I'm not going to go through the list of the grievances because you've heard them from me, once a month for the last 18 months. I don't wish to keep coming here, standing before you for the same reason all the time, with the same information, perhaps slightly new phrasing. Our community deserves better. We implore you, act and help us. Don't just sit there and listen.
Five point 20, Eve.
Good evening, Council. Section 260-7A1 defines harassment as a reduction in the quality of basic service to the health, safety, and welfare of the tenants. The Jersey City Municipal Court still, as of last week, refuses to enforce Chapter 260 Building Code and Fire Code. Fire code violations in my building basement from 2020 became a failed chimney, which became recurring carbon monoxide, which has destroyed my left eye. Not only did the court still refuse to issue fines on any of those summons last week, Judge Remy Eid now threatened to charge me with criminal contempt if I talk about his court's ticket fixing anymore. Meanwhile, my landlord, Mohammed Shahid, has failed to appear 3 times in a row and again received no punishment. I came here for a year observing Portside Towers speaking to you. I looked at them and I saw some of council's bored apathetic attitude. And I kept thinking how if only you listened to Portside Towers, I might still have my vision in my career. Here's an example of harassment. Chapter 260, Section 7A3 explicitly names inadequate security as harassment. Yet at Portside Towers, there's still no uniform security whatsoever, a direct violation of Chapter 218, Article 1, which requires a minimum of 1 uniform security guard upon its premises 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for buildings over 100 units. This isn't just about feeling safe. This is about life and death. I'm not kidding. When a bullet pierced a window at Portside, there was no security to respond. When a bleeding woman sought help, there was no security to assist. When unauthorized individuals accessed their building at 3 a.m., there's no security to intervene. Director Richardson has the explicit authority under 260A9A1 to remedy violations of this chapter by adjusting rentals, ordering rebates, and bringing appropriate legal charges. Daily fines are not optional. They are required by law for each day a violation continues. When landlords fail to provide security, it isn't just a service reduction, it's tenant harassment under the legal definition in Chapter 260-7. And by failing to issue daily fines, Jersey City Hall is enabling this harassment. Many of you have children. Many of you have elderly parents. If they lived in a building with no security where it is legally required, where strangers could freely wander the halls, would you consider that acceptable? I don't. Would you call that safe? I don't. I care about my neighbors. The law is clear, the obligation is clear. What remains unclear is why this administration refuses to enforce it. Please support Director Richardson and give him enforcement authority to issue daily fines for security violations under 267 and 218-1. Today, the next emergency at Portside and in my building shouldn't require us to ask where was security and where was enforcement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My speech is called Where is the Superintendent? There's a simple law in Jersey City. Large buildings must have a resident superintendent. That's not a suggestion. That's not a guideline. It's the law. A resident superintendent. And yet at Portside Towers and many other buildings, the so-called resident superintendent doesn't actually live there. We've had emergency situations where tenants had no one to call, leaks, floods, fires, no super in sight. And what has the city done about it? Absolutely nothing. Let's be clear, this is a safety issue. This is about compliance with 254-45B28, which requires a live-in superintendent for buildings of our size. And yet landlords are allowed to list a fake address on their compliance forms and nobody checks. Nobody enforces. It's a very common theme, it seems. But Director Richardson isn't responsible for Ordinance 254, right? Well, that is not actually true. Ordinance 260 gives Richardson the power to see to it that other related ordinances are enforced. 260-7 covers anti-harassment and tenant complaints. This section includes a list of 7 things that qualify as harassment. The very first item on the list, a reduction in the quality of basic service to the health, safety, and welfare of the tenants. Director Richardson, please enforce 260-7 and issue daily fines for violations. Richardson 260-7 says, harassment of tenants shall mean conduct, whether direct or indirect, committed intentionally or negligently by a landlord or anyone acting on his behalf. Our landlord and our local management acting on behalf of our landlord is in violation of 260-7. So here's what needs to happen. Inspections need to be conducted. Fake addresses need to be flagged. And landlords who refuse to comply should face immediate penalties and daily fines. If Richardson is not doing this, he is not enforcing Ordinance 260-7. Because a law that isn't enforced isn't a law at all. And right now, Jersey City is sending the message that its laws don't matter. Enforce 260-7. Thank you.
I'm sorry, what? Is that Suzanne? Thank you.
You jumped.
Joel?
Good evening, City Council. Mayor Fulop wants us to believe that rent control enforcement is out of his hands. He says things like, the matter is in federal court. He says the city has done everything it can. That is simply not true. And there is no court-ordered stay. Rent control remains the law. Determinations remain binding, and they should be enforced. The ordinance is clear. Director Richardson's job is, and I quote, ordering rebates and bringing appropriate legal charges. But instead we see a pattern. The moment landlords push back, the enforcement stops. A federal lawsuit is filed and suddenly it's as if rent control ceases to exist. If that worked, well, I guess it kind of is working in our case. Landlords can avoid the law for years just by filing a federal lawsuit and then an appeal and then another appeal. Is that what Richardson and Fulop would have us believe, that we get enforcement in 5 to 10 years? Sounds like a sentence. That's why we bring our Enforce 260 signs. This is not how the system is supposed to work. That is not how the ordinance was written. As Mayor Bala made clear when he spoke to in a Jersey City church directly to tenants, he told the truth. Litigation does not block enforcement. The administration has full authority to act, and it must. If this administration continues down this path, then let's be honest, it's a choice. It's not a legal necessity. Jersey City has the same enforcement powers as Hoboken. The difference? One city uses them and the other makes excuses. This council has a duty to its residents, the residents who elect you. This council has a choice. Will you demand action? Will you ensure tenants are protected? Or will you continue accepting excuses from an administration that would rather let landlords violate the law than stand up for renters? This council has the power to investigate. If Corporation Counsel does not advise you how to conduct an investigation, or if you believe that their advice is in conflict with your duties, remember my previous pleas and the suggestion of Commissioner O'Day to engage independent counsel. Thank you.
Drew, 523, Drew. Sick, okay. Jessica?
Good evening, City Council. When you said 10 years, Joel, you freaked me out. But let's talk about Ordinance 260-17, which states a, quote, a violation affecting more than one tenant shall be considered a separate violation as to each tenant. Yet at Portside Towers, hundreds of tenants face violations with 0 daily fines issued. Section 262B could not be more direct. Any rental increase in excess of that authorized by the provisions of this chapter shall be void. And 260 Section 2D requires such excess rent to be refunded or credited by the landlord forthwith. I was also in the room with Mayor Ravi Bala from Hoboken when he said that Jersey City Code is enforceable even during litigation, perhaps especially during litigation, because otherwise we're not protected. Otherwise, courts can be used as a legal workaround. This is what Mayor Fulop is currently allowing in our case. Has our landlord refunded a single dollar? Just $1? No. Has Director Richardson issued daily fines as required by Chapter 1, Section 125, which states, quote, each day a violation of any provision of this code shall constitute a separate offense? No, he hasn't. The word shall appears 264 times in this ordinance. Shall is not optional. It is not optional language. It mandates action. Meanwhile, the human cost mounts. A tenant who loses his home doesn't just lose an apartment. He loses his community, his children's school stability, and sometimes his dignity. When a landlord ignores rent control determinations with impunity, they're not just breaking the law, they're breaking lives. These landlords and their lawyers are coming up with strategies to make us leave, to rip money out of our pockets and make us go away. That's what you're allowing to happen. Our neighbors have packed up and left in the night. I see furniture outside all the time of people leaving and not having enough money to take their belongings with them. They don't want to leave. These illegal rent hikes make staying impossible, even after 18 months after the rent leveling board ruled in our favor. I have a friend and neighbor leaving this weekend. She's lived at Portside for years, and because nothing has tangibly changed for her since our petitions were filed, she has to leave. She finally has to leave. She's being forced out because she can no longer withstand these overcharges. Fix it.
Tracy?
Good evening, Council. I want to talk about a fundamental part of rent control that keeps getting ignored, rent registration. Because enforcement isn't just about punishing illegal rent increases. It's about transparency. It's about making sure landlords actually document what they are charging so the city can verify if it's legal. Right now, many landlords are failing to file rent controls, despite it being a basic requirement under Ordinance 260-3. Some haven't filed for years. Others submit incomplete or fraudulent records. And what happens? Nothing. No penalties, no consequences. The city has the power to fine landlords for this, yet it either doesn't or there is a one-off token fine or summons that get dismissed or ignored. Why is that? Why does enforcement seem to stop at the landlord's doorstep? When tenants miss a rent payment, they face late fees, eviction threats, legal action. But when landlords ignore their legal responsibilities, they get a free pass. Here is a solution. Start issuing fines for every missing rent roll. Start treating incomplete filings as violations. And most importantly, start making it clear to landlords that their compliance is not optional. These should be daily fines, or the landlords will simply ignore them. Director Richardson, the ordinance calls for daily fines. When you do not issue them, you are not enforcing Ordinance 260. Enforce 260. Because without rent rolls, enforcement is impossible. And without enforcement, rent control is a joke and Ordinance 260 is a farce.
526, Stanlio? Here, okay, 527, Sonia?
Good evening, Council. I'll open up the perspective now from local to federal level, from Jersey City to Washington. I'm going to read a piece by the Jersey City Times editorial board to you. 3 days old, slightly shortened to get through it. Ready, story hour begins. Fulop and Trump are kindred spirits when it comes to the press. Hey, Associated Press, we feel your pain. We've been there. We are referring to President Trump's decision to ban the 178-year-old news organization from important White House events. Here at Jersey City Times, it was a déjà vu. In 2021, Mayor Fulop cut us from all communications and effectively banned us from press conferences, ceremonies, and official events. How did the AP get itself exiled? It decided not to use the name Gulf of America to describe what we have always called the Gulf of Mexico. How did the Jersey City Times get put in the penalty box? We reported that the mayor was not being honest about crime in Jersey City. Fulop appears to have the same authoritarian thin skin as many think the man is heading to the country towards a constitutional crisis. Bullying knows no political party. We know that here. When challenged, Trump and Fulop also share a similar taste for the offensive personal put-down. A White House spokesman said the AP is clearly suffering from a severe, debilitating case of Trump derangement syndrome that has rotted their peanut-sized brains. After the Jersey City Times broke the story that the mayor had taken a group of underlings on a secret junket to Paris Centre Pompidou, he launched into vitriolic personal attacks. Like the AP, we sought court intervention in 2023. The Media Freedom and Information Access Clinic at Yale Law School filed a federal lawsuit on our behalf under the First Amendment. On Friday, the AP brought a nearly identical suit against Trump. Okay, we know what you are thinking. 280 Grove is not the White House, but for us, it makes no difference. We exist to cover City Hall and inform our readers about what's happening here. But the stakes are higher than our convenience. Both Trump and Fulop know that intimidation and isolation are effective ways to keep press criticism to a minimum. I leave the last two sentences out because I want to get to the unisono with the Jersey City. Welcome to Trump's and Fulop's America. And I leave you all tonight to see if this is just another story hour for you or if you want to do anything about it. And I'll also say labeling criticism as an insult like President Waterman did earlier today with Edward is just another method like this.
5.28, Markui.
Okay, good evening, Council. It's been a while, but tonight I'm here with solutions, practical solutions, hopefully, because I want to be optimistic. I want to be forward-looking. Now, as you know, at Pulsite Towers, we have a unanimous rent leveling board determination that our buildings are rent controlled. Yet, our rents continue to increase illegally month after month, right? Why? Because apparently we've built a system where determinations have no teeth. Our current process is like installing smoke detectors without connecting them to an alarm system. They can detect a fire, but they can't protect the buildings. No fire department shows up, sprinklers don't kick in. Here's what I mean. So Director Richardson and his staff follow the law and issue determinations, right? But then those determinations enter a bureaucratic void where enforcement responsibility is like fragmented across multiple departments. The Bureau determines violations, and then the rent board confirms them. But then the municipal court should enforce penalties, and the prosecutor should pursue violations. And meanwhile, public safety has other jurisdictions. So when communication breaks down between those entities, determinations just become mere paper. I mean, technically correct, but practically meaningless. The section 260-17 actually explicitly states each day a violation continues shall constitute a separate offense. Yet these daily penalties are rarely, if ever, imposed. So my solution is actually just simple. We should create an automated pathway where once a determination is issued, daily fines of $2,000 per violation under Chapter 1, Section 1-25 just begin immediately and automatically, right? I mean, no landlord could ever afford to ignore determinations if those daily fines actually accumulated. This is not about blaming any individual, but it's about fixing a broken system. When parking laws are violated, tickets are automatically issued. When health codes are violated, businesses are closed immediately. Only rent control kind of exists in this accountability vacuum. And of course, this method should be fiscally responsible because issuing those daily violations couldn't cost $2,000 each day, right? So council members, we need you to close this gap between determination and consequence. Without this critical link, no amount of determinations will ever protect the residents of Jersey City. Thank you.
Michelle?
Madam President and all council members, kindly look up and give me 3 minutes of your time. Waiting. How do we determine if there is an enforcement issue in Jersey City? Let's be fair, if officials were unaware of a situation, we couldn't hold that against them. But let's choose a case where that excuse doesn't apply. Let's take a group that has been to every single city council meeting since November 2022, a group that has delivered over 900 speeches, a group covered over 100 times by the press, including the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, and The Real Deal. If enforcement existed anywhere, it would have to be here. Yet, what do we find at Portside Towers? In 2022, illegal rents, no resident super in either tower, no uniform security, no complete rent roll, violations of New Jersey's landlord identity law. Then in January 2023, Director Richardson took office. And what changed? Nothing. In October 2023, the Rent Leveling Board ruled unanimously 6-0 for tenants. And what changed then? Nothing. All of 2024, the violations continued under Fulop and Richardson. Not a single fine paid. Now here we are in 2025. Still, no enforcement. Fulop and Richardson claim there's no enforcement issue. That's convenient because if we, the most vocal and visible tenants in the city, can't get enforcement, then who can? If daily fines required under Ordinance 260 are never issued, then enforcement does not exist. If repeated violations receive no legal action, then enforcement does not exist. If officials ignore their own determinations, then enforcement does not exist. So what happens next? You are forcing us to ask the nation if they agree that this crisis has been handled as well as you claim. But we all know what's more likely. You will become famous, not for leadership, but for allowing this injustice to continue despite unmatched effort by those in need. Take action, or we will make sure the nation sees exactly what inaction looks like. We have 2 offers on the table. Thank you.
Ryan? Oh, no, Ryan. Okay. 531, Sharon? No, okay. 532, Gloria? No, Gloria. 533, Olga? 534, Randall? 535, Ronald? Maggie? Phyllis? Alma? Aid? Brian? Tadea? Essence? Marilyn? Emmanuel? Oh, Erin?
I'm Emmanuel, but if Marilyn's here. Okay,
No, you're Emmanuel. Oh,
almost at the end. Good evening, council. Some of you know me. My name is Emmanuel Morgan. I'm a trustee with Bike JC and a co-founder of Hudson County Complete Streets. I just want to thank everyone on the council who voted yes to add for the motion to add the resolution to the agenda for the engineering contract for the Manhattan Avenue and Franklin Street bike lane project. It was really just an engineering contract, not a vote on the design, just a vote to save the grant funding, to prevent a loss of grant funding. And there are 272 miles of streets in Jersey City and less than 20 miles of protected bike lanes. This is not equity. There's 0 miles of protected bike lanes in the Heights. The proposed project is less than 1 mile. I'm not sure I understand the controversy over this particular bike lane. What are public safety's specific concerns? We deserve the right to know. Councilman Rivera has left the dais, mentioned safety a few times tonight. Safety is exactly what is at stake for constituents trying to travel around the city. At the last city council meeting, Councilman Rivera, I'm sorry I called you by name. At the last city council meeting, a young man spoke named Juan Aguilar. He could tell you what safety meant to him on an evening in January 2021 when he needed both the bike lanes and the ambulance. But if he had had the bike lane, he would not have needed the ambulance. I also have a message for Director Kearse because he has not returned any of our emails. Safe Streets advocates and public safety want the same thing. I truly believe we all want more safety. We all want reduced emergency vehicle response times. But it's not bike lanes or one-ways that increase emergency vehicle response times. It's traffic congestion. It's single occupant vehicles. People often ask why the bike lanes appear empty. The reason is that bikes don't get stuck in traffic, and neither will they impede or obstruct emergency vehicles. We are simply trying to achieve a reduction in traffic by offering residents more choices and by reducing crashes with proven Vision Zero safety infrastructure. I'm out of time. Thank you.
Okay, Jacqueline? Maggie? Adrian? Jim? Tony?
Hi, Tony Borelli from Bike JC. I'd like to say that I think it's a shame that you all weren't able to even agree to put something up for a vote. I hope that'll happen again the next time we're here. And I'll see you then.
On? No? Okay. So we are done with our public speaking portion. Get back to our cameras. Okay. We are on to our petitions and communications. We have items 6.1 to 6.38. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, there are no officers' communications. There are no report of directors. We are on to our claims and addendum 1 and 2. I will now take your vote for the claims and addendum 1 and 2. Councilperson Ridley. Aye. Councilperson Panzeri,
Aye.
Councilperson Fasciano, Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Councilperson Solomon, Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
She steps out.
Stepped out. Okay, claims and addendum 1 and 2 have been approved, 8-0. We'll move on to our resolutions. I am taking a vote on items 10.1 to 10.10. Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri,
Aye for all.
Councilperson Fasciano,
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh,
Aye.
Person Solomon,
Aye.
Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman's not here. Okay, so items 10.1 to 10.10 are approved 9-0. Council President's here.
Yes, Mayor.
Need your vote for 10.1 to 10.10, please.
Yes.
Okay. Unanimously, 9-0 approved. All right. Now we're on to resolution 10.11 to 10.21. Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri,
Aye for all.
Councilperson Fasciano, Councilperson Saleh,
You said to what, which one?
to 10.21.
Aye for all.
Councilperson Solomon, Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay. Resolutions 10.11 to 10.21 are approved 9-0. On to our last set of resolutions, 10.22 to 10.26. Councilperson Ridley,
Aye.
Councilperson Panzeri,
Aye for all.
Councilperson Fasciano,
Aye.
Councilperson Saleh,
I'm gonna vote aye for all and thank the administration for 1025 and taking a step forward towards the new North District.
Councilperson Solomon, Councilperson DeGise,
Aye.
Councilperson Rivera,
Aye.
Council President Waterman.
Aye.
Okay, items 10.22 to 10.25. 25, they are approved 9-0. 10.26 is approved 8-0 with Councilperson Gilmore. He has a nay here. Then we go to, oh, and that's the last one, 10.26. Okay.
Motion.
Motion to adjourn made by Councilperson Rivera, second by
Second.
Council President Waterman. It is 9:26 p.m. We are out of here. Thank you so much. Everyone get home safe.
Just want to thank my council colleagues for having a surprise birthday party for me. I was not aware of the surprise birthday party. I didn't get a heads up about it, but I did not know about it beforehand.
Show up.
We're unanimously adding.
But thank you. Thank you. I love you all. Thank you so much. And enjoy the cake.
It was really good cake.
I swear to God,
It's very good cake.